I think I do.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Talking of which, let's do this show. Good morning. Jane and I were just discussing, do we do the shows in our head first? Yeah. Always thinking.
Yeah.
Always thinking about the shows. What have I got? What have I forgotten? I mean, we nearly forgot to bring in all the kits for this beautiful quilt today, which would have been, not the end of the world because...
No, we could have got them.
We could have got them and that would have been fine. But yeah, it's helpful that they're here. Good morning. How are you? Are you well? It's raining outside, which can mean only one thing. It means I've got a long trip to Vaughan Specialist Vet. Do you know, in the last year that she's been going there, I've never been when it hasn't been raining. Every time it rains.
Well, that's it. You've got to stop going to the vet with Maud then if you're going to make it rain.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that. I mean, I don't think it's me. I don't think I have that control. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to throw it out there. Thanks, Inga, for the tea. Oh, she's a good one.
She's a star.
I do like that. Can I get you a cup of tea? Yes. The answer is
that to ask.
Always yes. Always yes. Right. So we have tea. Actually, Jane has coffee. I never feel like I do enough for your drink. Jane has her coffee just black. No sugar, no nothing, no sweet, nothing, just black. And I feel like I haven't made it with enough love because it's just a scoop of powder. Done.
Yeah.
Could
Easy.
we like zhuzh it up a bit with something?
No.
I was thinking like with cocktails when they put like salt around. I mean, not salt with coffee
No.
because that would be really putrid. But
Maraschino cherry in it.
I
Why
could
not?
do that. I could do that.
Little orange twist.
Little orange twist. Just you wait. The exotic coffees are a-coming. Yes.
I like it with Baileys in.
I could do... No, you've got to drive home.
Yeah, this is the trouble. Tea, Maria. Yeah.
Do they do like, they do at fancy schmancy places. When we went out for dinner for my birthday last year, it was during like that month that we were allowed to do stuff. And we went to a very nice restaurant. Very nice. And I had a cocktail. It's very lovely. And my daughter had a mocktail.
Yeah.
They made one for her specially because otherwise she would have drunk mine. And she wasn't even 2 then, so that would have been wrong.
Slightly illegal.
Yeah. I mean, she would be very happy with the situation, so they made her a mocktail. Do you think there's like a mocktail version of Baileys that we could put in your coffee?
I don't know, because they've got alcohol-free gin now, so maybe there is something similar.
I bought it when I was pregnant. It's disgusting.
Is it?
Well,
I don't like gin anyway. So.
No, I think that's the problem. I teeter on the edge, and sometimes I only like gin because I'm like, oh well, help me relax in the bath. Oh, a little gin. Anyway, good morning. We've digressed already. How have we mentioned food and drinks and everything already? We're only just starting. Haven't even found us on the Book of Faces yet. But I will. They will be here. A lovely photo of you on Facebook this morning, Jane, hugging a mat. Someone said, is it going to be the same as like tree hugging?
It could be.
It could. I mean, we
could start a new trend.
We're up for,
Love
trying
your mat,
these.
That's all I can say.
Love your mat. We do love this mat. So this is the new Creative Grids mat. I will talk you through it in just a minute when I've cleared the area, but there's, thing or two on there at the minute. It's from Creative Grids. They've just started doing it, but we know that Creative Grids create stuff for quilters by quilters, so it was always going to be phenomenal.
It's amazing.
We love it very, very much. Hence, coming in and finding Jane draped. Draped.
Just giving it some love
You
before
were
I started
giving
hacking it with a rotary cutter.
You get the first cut.
I cut it first.
It self-heals. It's all fine.
Yes, it's all good.
Right, things to tell you about today. I'm going to go through this is the Half Me to Heaven pile. Did I get overexcited this morning?
No, I think you've gone a little bit, yeah.
Why not, right? The other thing to say is our spend £50, get £5 off finishes tonight at midnight. Okay, so if you want to make the most of that, maybe there's a little pattern. Maybe you're tinkering about at about the, the £45 mark. Throw in an extra pattern, you're basically getting it for free.
Yeah,
that's where we're kind of looking at. So do make the most of that. If you've seen things on there that you love and you just have to have, then please do make the most of that because, like I say, that ends midnight tonight. The Fiskars large scissors are back in stock. These are my kitchen scissors.
They're fabulous scissors.
They are fabulous. Until I found that I blamed Emily, and it wasn't. It was Freddie had just been, seeing if they worked on some of the tassels off my scarves. Found them trimmed in the corner. It's like, what?
Oh dear.
They work. They work really well. And these are the large universal scissors, function and form. They're fab. They are for the right-handed amongst us. Soz about that. They don't have a left-handed version at the moment, but I am always keeping my eyes out for you lefties. And they're just great. They are just great. So whereas I used to have about 20 IKEA cheap pairs of scissors, I now just have these.
Yeah,
they're great.
Everything.
They are really, really lovely. It's Fiskars quality that we know and love at an exceptional price. Because I got them on a deal from my supplier, so I pass on the deal. Talking of deals, did you make the most yesterday of... Now, Jane, this was you that wanted the... This was you wanted these as fat quarters.
Yes.
And these are, let me show you these in detail. This is the Riley Blake Jane Austen collection, and we've got this at a super special deal because we don't have a lot left, and we wanted you to make the most of it. So, getting that yesteryear feel, beautiful. And Jane, why was this so important to you that they were fat quarters and not long quarters?
Because I felt that fabric is just begging to be made into a quilt, because it's just such pretty fabric. And as a quilter, I think fat quarters are better fabric value, which sounds silly because a fat quarter is the same as a long quarter, but for some reason you seem to get more fabric out of you get more pieces out of a fat quarter than you do a long quarter.
It certainly gives you more options.
Yeah.
I love a long quarter because I have my stripology rule and I just like to cut strips on things.
And it's great for your binding when you've got a long
yeah,
quarter.
like yesterday's show, it lent itself to long quarters because you were going to do your strip binding for your bamboo bibbly what's its.
Yeah.
Me old bamboo.
That's it, there's the song now.
Yeah, I know. Can I blame Lo today? I don't know. Is Lo with us yet? I don't know if she's joined us yet. We'll say hello to everyone in a minute. But I just wanted to remind you of those because they have not yet been cut. So if you do buy two, we will send them in a 1/2 metre length for you. They haven't been cut yet. Should we say good morning?
Let's say good morning. It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Who do we have? Oh, lots
wet
of people
day.
this morning. It's a miserable wet day, but it's lovely in here. Wet and windy and I can't say it, Warsash. Anyway, Penny's sorting her William Morris scraps. So to hell with the weather, quite frankly.
Yeah.
That's what I've said. She hasn't said that bit. She just said she's sorting her William Morris scraps. Good morning, Penny. Good morning, Anne from Australia. Send us some rain. We need it. I'd love to.
Yeah.
I think we're done on rain. Yeah, if I'm honest.
Enough. We need a bit more sunshine. We had a lovely afternoon, didn't we,
We
yesterday?
did. It spoilt us. We got excited. Wet and windy here in Snowdonia. Perfect day for snowing, says Joe. I kind of expect it in Wales. Like Wales, it's just the height of it, isn't it? Comes in off the Atlantic, has to go up over Wales, and then it dumps. So, yeah, that is the downside in living there. Elizabeth says, handmade mug, hug and rug.
Nice.
Good. Pam says, good morning, gorgeous ladies, in my phone. I mean, yeah, phone, tablet, we get everywhere. We were once on the bus with someone. Do you know that?
Lovely.
Yeah. Morning, Susan. Morning, Jan. Morning, Leslie. Looking for this. It's beautiful for spring. Emily came in yesterday. She said, Mummy, I'm going to your workroom. It's fun there.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, it's fun there. Right, so obviously I have to come with her because there's sharp stuff. And she came in and she spotted this. Her little face lit up. What did she say? Please, Mummy.
Put it on the floor, please.
Yeah, put it on the floor, please.
I need to sit on it.
And so she did. And then she saw your little butterfly, which isn't easy to see from here, but Jane's quilted a little butterfly on there and it's so exquisite. But what she was actually using it as was more like a twister mat.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, but she was saying her colours and standing on the colours that she could find.
Yeah, I heard her saying the colours.
Yeah. The peach threw her.
Yeah,
she wasn't quite sure.
She wanted that to be brown, didn't she?
Yeah, it's not. I had to explain it was peach.
Yeah, it's a new word for her.
We'll get there. She's 2, right? She's got time. Morning, Susan. You know who that is, don't you?
Is that HP?
Oh, no, it's not.
No.
We've got various jangly medals and stuff from past various sporty stuff. I don't exude like a sporty persona anymore, it's fair to say. But once upon a time I was quite sporty. And yeah, there are a few like
Once
jingly
upon a
jangly
time
things.
I was quite sporty, says the ex-Olympian.
I didn't get to the Olympics. I trained for the Olympics.
Yeah, but the Olympian trained.
Yeah, I was, yeah. This belies it.
It's in there.
It is in there, struggling to get out. A bit like my
I think
clothes.
it's enjoying itself.
I think it's having a lovely time. Made more cakes this morning. Morning, Karen. She's morning, everyone at Makes headquarters.
I like that.
Makes headquarters.
Make HQ, yeah.
Yes. Can't stay. Oh, as I've got no Wi-Fi. I'll catch up there with that. Oh, well, we're sorry we won't have you with us today. Jane and Grace and Linda, good morning. And Vanessa and Donna, good morning. And Paula and Naomi, good morning. Sneakily watching it. Well, yeah, we don't often have you live, do we, Naomi? It's lovely. It's Naomi H, not Naomi P. We often have Naomi P. We don't often have Naomi H. Good morning, Jane. Oh, she's finishing a cardigan for baby George, who arrived on Wednesday.
Oh.
Such exciting times. Once you get over the terror of having something small that doesn't have a manual,
Yeah.
and you work out that you can actually bend their limbs to get them into various
they're
baby
quite
grows and
flexible,
stuff.
yeah.
It's all good. Morning, Lo. We're going to blame you forever for the bamboo song, by the way. And Susie and Heidi, good morning. And Helen and Susie, good morning. Raining, so no mega walk for the dog this morning. Poor Hendrix. Margaret says alcohol-free gin. I thought for years I didn't like gin, and then I discovered it's tonic I don't like. Oh no, I like pink gin. I'm with you on the pink gin. Love pink gin. And actually, I do use the alcohol-free stuff in cocktails, like, you know,
Get the flavour.
punches and stuff's quite nice. And so good morning to everybody else. There we go. If they don't look like tassels anymore, oh, these are the tassels that Freddie doctored with the scissors that I blamed Emily for. You could perhaps make them into little dollies on a mobile, perhaps. No, they were obliterated. Let's just.
You can imagine him just like snipping into it and then thinking, "Oh, that's quite nice. Let's do a little bit more."
Do you know, I should have made him hoover it all up because he just left it all over the carpet. I was quite cross. Again, more glorious insights into the wonderful
The
world.
crossness that only a mother can be, and then, 2 minutes later it's all fine.
Well, then he'll say something fabulous, and I'll be like, "Oh, I don't."
It's the only sort of cross a mother. It's the only cross a mother can be.
Yeah, fleetingly. Laurie, good morning. She says, "Good morning, lovely ladies. Looking forward to Witchy Wednesday. Raining in Suffolk. It is Witchy Stitchy Wednesday." Jane, please, while I take a slurp of my tea, could you tell everybody why we need spots in our life? And I don't mean like...
No, we don't. We're not talking acne. We're talking fabric spots. And who doesn't love a spot?
When do we use them because people are scared of them?
You can use them in place of a plain as a sort of semi-solid. Gives an overall feeling of a solid colour.
Yes.
They make fabulous bindings.
Yes.
And they're just wonderful. I love a spot. Spots
Linings.
and dots, linings for bags.
Beautiful for linings for bags, pockets, all that sort of things. The nesting tidy loves a spot, let me tell you, because then you turn it down. The flower baskets would look fabulous with spots.
They would.
Hey up.
Was that your...
That's just my phone just sliding off. So to that end, let me show you the spot collection that I have of caifs.
And it's a cave spot.
I know, it is a special spot. So you can have these as fat quarters, or if you get two, then you'll get them as half meters, because again, they have not been cut yet. So we will cut these to your delectation. Getting all the words in today. Can we just appreciate the spot? And I've put these at a special price, and they're fabulous, and please make the most of them because they're fabulous. And sometimes, I'm gonna hang these out here for a little bit because we'll see what we've got in there that might go with the old spotteroonies.
Yeah.
As we venture, I'm going to just pop these out of shot. Bear with me, caller. Bear with me, caller. There we go. Right. Okay, so number one, we have got, these are half meter heavens for tonight at midnight. These will go live. I've got varying amounts. That's always the deal. Varying amounts. $9.99 for a half meter of your plain, your solid, and your beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fabric. Now this was actually, we didn't have that much of this, which is why it didn't make it into the Jane Austen bundle.
It's just really pretty.
It is. I like to think it's a folly.
Yes, definitely a folly.
We still have follies, right, these days.
Yeah,
they're still around, aren't they?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like,
We've got quite a few in Staffordshire.
really, because I
Yeah.
seem to remember, I mean, yes, they're in Jane Austen things, but also like Miss Marple's. They always had, like at the grand houses, they always had a folly somewhere.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah, most stately homes.
She was
Have a
fond of a
folly.
folly. I think Miss Marple was very fond of a folly. And I tried Slinky Minky or whatever it's called, Silver Mink with it,
Yeah.
but just wasn't quite right. And so Lo, you'll be pleased to know this is bamboo. Do you know what Lo's going to be? So she's really going to regret, isn't she?
Yeah.
Ever mentioning me old bamboo. But yeah, that is bamboo with that. Isn't it just the perfect shade? I thought so.
It's perfect.
Perfecto, perfecto. But that's, yeah, so that's Riley Blake from the blah, 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 blah range. What's it called? Jane Austen range. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. There we go.
Like with a completely blank look. What?
Now, Brandon Mabley for Kay Fassett. There we go. Right. Oh, okay. So now we're gonna have to do this because I couldn't decide. Looks fabulous with the pink. That's with bright pink. Just gonna, you know, visit that for a second. Yes. Yes.
Definitely.
Beautiful. Potentially that as well. Just suddenly pulls out that blues. So anyway, when I was looking at this, that spoke to me. But then so did this. And also, I can't have a half meter heaven show off day, can I, without saying chartreuse for Claire, because, you know, I hope she's proud that I've learnt to say it right now. I'm proud of myself. So, I mean, maybe, you know, you buy the two, you get a metre of your cape, and then you get
half of each, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful, right? I mean, think of the things, the things you could do.
I love that.
I do love the zigzag because it's Brandon.
Binding.
It's Brandon's personality as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Just a little bit off the wall. You think you know where he's going, and then he throws in a little. Just adore it. As much as I adore those two, they're just fabulous. Right, let's have then a look at your mosaic circles in white. I went with, I want to say slate. I'm right because slate is my new favourite. Goes with everything.
It's lovely, and it's just got that tone of blue in it, which pulls out those turquoises, doesn't it?
There are so many different blues in here,
Yeah.
but this is just a restful one. It allowed them to go ping. There we go. But let's just take a look over at the spot department, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thinking this, thinking this, thinking actually that's rather gorgeous with it as well.
That green with the turquoise in is lovely.
So this is why we need spots in our lives, right? The good spots. Oh, now. You know we had those bag bases.
Mm-hmm.
What about that? Lined with your brunette. This is Riley Blake as well.
Yeah.
We've had
We've
a bit
got
of
some smart in a tiger print.
just up behind you, actually.
Yeah.
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 So you could have a bag and smarf to match.
I mean, beautiful, right?
Yeah.
I mean, release that in a Bet Lynch.
Why not? It's very trendy at the moment, isn't it? Animal print.
It's always trendy. Do you know what it would work really well with? Your red top.
Oh yeah.
It would look gorgeous. I love leopard print with a red top. Yeah. What about a giraffe? Now I had to go through the very first. So we stock. We stock 75 planes, don't we? Not to mention the last of the salt batiks. We've got a handful of those and others. So we've always got colours to choose from. But the first 5 or 6 are neutrals, aren't they? They're beiges.
Yes.
It would be fair to say
Going
beiges.
from white right through to, is it biscuit? That's quite a really lovely, rich.
Now this one is, oh, beige. Don't let the name put you off, because sometimes beige is needed. Because the beige happened to be exactly the right tone to go with the giraffe. And you can't tell me that in life a giraffe would ever be described as beige.
Never. I love giraffes. I love their eyelashes.
They're superb. And I don't know what their little horns are for on the top of their head.
No.
I have no idea. Do you think they get like good Wi-Fi up there with them?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe it's to do with balance or something. They've got a name, haven't they, those horns? They've got a proper name.
Balance.
I knew it.
What?
And now it's gone.
Well, no, hang on. I'm fascinated by this idea. Balance. How would you?
I don't know. I was just making it up.
I don't know. You see, in my head, they've got like little
goes in
between them, and
Like the old-fashioned television antennae.
You receive a great signal up there. Fabulous. I mean, it could be a thing. Could be a thing. Now, I realise now why I love this one so much, because it's called Bengal Tiger. And of course, what have I got in my life? Theo is half Bengal Tiger. He is.
Yeah.
It's that part of him that brings in all the wildlife.
Yeah, he's a real tiger spirit.
He is a real tiger spirit.
He's very laid back.
But then the other half of him is ragdoll.
Yeah. Well, he's very laid back and he knows he's gorgeous, which I think tigers do.
Yeah. I think you're right. Down the bottom of my pile, excuse me, I've got light grey and the white Bengal tiger. Ooh, and again, the start of the 75 planes starts with about 5 or 6 neutrals, and then it ends with about 5 or 6 greys through to black. So I had to go through them all, and this was my favourite.
Which one have you gone with?
Yeah, light grey.
Oh.
I know. Again,
But it goes perfectly.
Yeah. It does. Oh no, absolutely. It absolutely does. So that's that scenario. And again, I'm thinking bag making, all sorts of fun things. Beautiful. Now, what about, we've still got a handful of the panels left. We've only got like 2 or 3 of like the big lion panel, and I think 2 of the elephant, and then they're all gone. That's it. That's all of that then gone. Wow. So do take a look if you, yeah, they were huge. Dina Designs, beautiful Dina Designs with a touch of blush.
That is so pretty.
Isn't it?
Put it with that pale blue spot.
Yes, Jean. Yes, Jean. Yes, I will, Jean. Doesn't that give it just a whole different...
because there's a little bit of blue in there and it just pulls it.
Do you know where I would have gone?
Oh, yeah.
Equally. So this is why you need a spot in your life. We've never actually done a spot bundle. Do you know?
Really?
No.
I love spots.
I know. I was inspired by you, Jane. Sally Kelly.
We're liking Sally Kelly.
We are. She's not a name that I had really come across. And then when I was on my walk around through the warehouse, my remote walk around, I was like, stop there. What is that? And it was like a little Sally Kelly department. Not really heard of her before. I'm enjoying her tremendously. And also the fact that I can put her fabrics with quite an earthy shade of sage.
That's beautiful.
And isn't the colour exact?
That's really lovely.
Now, just for, you know...
I was just going to say that.
Look at that. That is why you need these spots in your life.
That would make a gorgeous bag.
Wouldn't it? Do you know what else is very, very pretty?
Oh, yes.
Little bit of Tilda. That is Pauline.
Oh.
Pauline. In umber with blush. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. I made a scarf out of that.
Oh, that's
Really
lovely.
beautiful. And great for masks and stuff like that because it doesn't show any makeup rubs on it.
No, that's
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Another beauteous, again, I've got 4 of these and that's it. This is again another Tilda.
That's
and
pretty.
with peach.
That's really pretty.
Isn't it pretty and delicate? And then I've got it, I think I've only got 2 of these. And look at that light, it's powder blue with it, which is exactly the blue that's in there. I was very pleased with myself.
Yeah, that really works,
I
doesn't
was
it?
quietly high-fiving myself early in the morning when I found that. It's like,
That's
yes.
the only downside of being here on your own at that silly hour is that you're on your own. You've got nobody to high five.
I'm happy to high-five myself. I have no problems with high-fiving myself. Yeah, you know, I'm comfortable with that. Do you know what else I'm comfortable with? Wisteria in teal.
Look at that.
I know. Okay, so this was my dilemma because it looks so beautiful with the pink, but Jane, the peacock is also a bit tremendous. So I've done half and half.
Yeah, get both.
Because I can, and because it's gorgeous, and because you will love it either way. So yeah. That's your option. So I had a little bit of a cafey morning this morning. This is your wisteria. It is a Philip Jacobs 4K facet. Let's give him his full credit there. Look at yes.
Very
Absolutely, yes. I actually rather like it with that as well. And just poking through under there. No, prefer it with the green. There we go. But that's why you need the option, right?
Definitely.
So Cave was never going to do spots. And then someone suggested it to him and he was like, oh yeah, no, I hadn't thought of that. Why hadn't I thought of that? I really like spots.
Yeah.
But of course when Cave does spots, he doesn't do it in just any old spot.
No, they're not tone on tone spots. They've got a lovely bit of
No.
jazziness to them.
You know, and this is it, isn't it? You know, every time he does something like that, they've got to have that, as Brandon would say, that little bit of chili on top. So, ooh!
Oh my goodness, what one's that? That's beautiful.
This is Japanese chrysanthemums.
Oh,
right.
look at that green.
I know. Okay, so first of all, we've got the blue that...
Yeah.
But let's just have a little play, because if you've gone spotty... I mean, it's just joyful, isn't it? In fact, you could
Absolutely.
possibly even get away with that one. Just beautiful. But if you're going for your half meter heaven with this,
That is lovely.
do you know what the good news is? Do you want the good news?
Yes, definitely.
The good news is I couldn't decide on just one colourway to go with
Oh,
it, so I
brilliant.
went for 2! Ha ha! So we get a chance to enjoy the genius that is this particular colourway with, oh look.
Oh, that's nice.
So if you want something a little lighter, suddenly,
It's amazing.
I love my job.
It's terrible, isn't it? It's really hard.
I struggle every day thinking, oh goodness me, I've got to go and play with beautiful fabrics and colour. What a dreadful life I have. Never say that.
No.
Right, okay. So this is Busy Lizzie.
I love the Busy Lizzie.
It's a really great one, and look, looky.
That looks nice.
Beautiful, right?
I bet that blue one looks lovely too.
Yeah, the blue. I mean, it, yeah. And orange,
Oh, nice.
because there's orange and lots of that going on. So again, that is for your delectation. And also, do you know what? It picks out the green in here if you put the two together.
They look lovely.
Yeah, it is one of those ones you sort of go, oh yes. This is another one that I went, oh yes. Now every time that I've half meter heaven this, Jane, I've gone paprika or orange,
Yeah, I can see why.
and it pulls it out. Today, no. I was in a,
Oh, that's nice.
watch that ping.
That's
Got a bit
lovely.
excited.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
I did get a bit excited, and I'm standing by that decision because I absolutely love it.
I'm loving that red and green spot with it.
Red and green. This one?
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah, look at that. Just beautiful.
Just zingy.
No. Ooh. Oh. Oh.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. There it is. I mean, yes. Just, yes. Yes, yes. And when you've got... Actually, do you know what? This one, we missed a trick with this one because, you know, it would work beautifully there, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Nice. Stripes and spots.
Do you know what? I don't think I meant to list that one with it because I think I wanted that for one of the quilts. Oh, well. It's in there now. It's fine. I'll just hold one back for me. And then the last one is the beautiful Jardin de Lys. I've called it Butterfly Pond. Because no, Dragonfly Pond or Dragonfly Lake or so. I've called it something because it's got beautiful metallic dragonflies in there, which are a bit special. It's really special. I put it with navy. Gives it quite a grown-up, sophisticated feel,
Yeah.
I thought.
Very nice.
But I kind of love it with that. Actually, I rather like it with that too. Also, look, no,
That's
that one.
Yeah.
And yet I would never have put it with that if it hadn't have been lying.
No, that grey and...
But that
sort of
grey, it's a
soft
greeny
pink,
grey,
yeah.
isn't it? It's a soft one. Beautiful. Anyway, it's going with navy. There it is. And then when we're done with that. I've only got 5 of those left. They are your half-metre heavens for tomorrow that go live tonight at midnight. Please do not miss out on that. Is that okay for you? Love the wisteria with green, said Alison. Yes, it's all good. Nice choice, says April. Oh, thank you, April. We will get your parcel mailed to you. I saw that this morning. Myra says, you're killing us, Natasha, with beauty. What a way to go, right?
Yeah. It's the
I mean,
worst ways to die on.
You know, yeah. April says, oh, I like that one. Choices. It's all really beautiful fabric. They're all there. Morning, Mum, says Petey. Oh, hello, Eds. Morning. Oh, they're ossicones.
Ossicones, that's it. I knew somebody would
They
tell
are
us.
neither bone nor horn, but are ossified cartilage. I think your nose is ossified cartilage as well, I kind of think. I had that in my right shoulder. Couldn't lift my right arm out to the side. Bit of a problem going through airport security. Oh, no. Which was doing twice a week at the time. Margaret. Did you have to have like a doctor's note to say, please don't make this woman do exaggerated movements? Can you get notes that say that?
I'm sure you
I'll
probably
write you
could.
one. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. No one will question it. Jane, do you mind if I pop that there?
No, not
There
at
you
all.
go. Oh, we haven't mentioned this. Vera has made a quilt. Vera is Inga's mum. She's very clever. And Inga fell in love with a couple of the jelly rolls that we've got. Are they called Fabulous 40s or something like that?
Yeah, because they're the Lewis and Irene ones.
Yeah, they're the Lewis and Irene ones, and they're really beautiful. And she went with... Inga loves a good earthy tone, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
So she sent a couple, because we've got them on the website. We've only got a handful left where you get the jelly roll and then you get a half metre of fabric free with them.
Yeah.
Take a look at that, and then if you whack that through with your spend 50, get £5 off, you're quid's in, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Then why am I suggesting this? What am I doing?
Making them spend their money.
Anyway, it was the one with like the Red Indians and stuff, wasn't it? Oh, was it Vikings?
Yeah, Viking, because Inga's a Viking, really.
She is a Viking, isn't she?
In a former life, she was definitely a Viking.
Well, with that long hair. If we plaited her hair, she'd look like one, wouldn't she?
Yeah, and chocolate shop.
Oh, and the chocolate shop.
And look at this, it is beautiful.
It's really good. So, the orange in the middle obviously has to be orange in the middle because it's a log cabin and that's the heart of the home.
Yeah.
And so we loved it, but it was just to show you. Oh, yeah, look, there's that one that smells chocolate.
Yeah.
That's in there. And so we just wanted to show you what could be done with jelly rolls, and also because...
Do you know what I love about this quilt?
It's made with so much love.
Well, apart from that, it's beautiful, but I love the backing. And Inga's mum's brought the backing round to the front.
Yeah.
And it gives it this lovely, and it's a woven check, and it's beautiful.
We were never sure if that was a caif.
Might be.
It came through. I remember because it's a woven. It never had a selvage with anything marked on it, and it was an unmarked bolt. And we all thought it was a caif because it looked very caif-like, but we were never quite sure. So we never actually. I don't think we ever actually really sold it as a caif, but I think it is one. So I mean, what a beautiful, glorious mixture that is. Oh, and there's some good bumbleberries and all sorts in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just thought that we would show that and luckily she's made
Quite
it big enough
often the
that we
Lewis
can
and Irene
socially
ones
distance.
stick some bumbleberries in their fabulous 40s, ones that go with the colours in the collection.
It's perfect.
It's
Look at these
beautiful.
little Vikings with swords.
I know. It's beautiful, 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 beautiful.
Really gorgeous. Really gorgeous.
Yeah.
So should we? There we go.
Let's
We'll
fold
pop
that
it
back
down
down.
there, and then we can. There we go. So that's that. Jane, you can show everybody that, can't you?
Yeah.
And I'm going to go and drink my tea in the corner, and you know. Oh, Theo's not on my seat. I can go over there. I'm coming around.
Look at these.
I know.
I love a spot. Can't tell you how much. I think we've got the message across that I love a spot.
Oh, there is it. Hello. Woo. Yeah, ever the professional me.
Why not?
Why not?
Beautiful. Okay. Flowers. I thought we needed a bit of springtime. It's about time. We've had some lovely days, haven't we? We were led into believing that spring was on its way, and then they went, poof, no,
I know.
let's drop the temperature down to -5.
Do you know what Freddie did this morning? He went to let the ducks out and collect their eggs, and he couldn't reach the one. They'd only laid one this morning. He couldn't reach it. So he said, but I bought you something beautiful to make you happy, and he bought me a daffodil.
Oh, bless him.
So we trimmed it down and put it in a vase.
Yeah.
It's on the side. So
They're
good boy.
just starting, aren't they, to come out. There's some lovely ones by the canal where I live, and it just brightens your day up seeing a daffodil.
It
Love them.
does, doesn't it? They're
Yeah.
good flowers.
They're just the ideal spring, that burst of yellow, and it sort of, I don't know, it just lifts your spirit and thinks, yeah, it's going to get warmer. It's coming.
It's that promise of
Yeah.
better times, isn't it? Everyone's loving Inga's mum's quilt. So well done, Vera.
Yes, it's
Margaret
beautiful.
said, yes, I had a doctor's note. It wasn't a problem at Belfast because it was, but they managed, because they managed to land Air Force One on it. But Heathrow, naming and shaming those airports.
Yeah.
Jane, what do we need for this in our lives?
We have got, in the kit, we've got a metre of the background fabric.
Okay, let's see that.
There it is, whole metre of
There.
ivory.
Beautiful.
And then you've got a long quarter of the green, which makes your stems and your leaves.
Which is actually a flange.
A flange, yes.
Oh,
And then you've got a long quarter of the blue, which I've used for the binding.
beautiful.
And then you've got a long 1/8, which is 5 inches in our money, of pink, light lilac, peach, and I want to say sunshine. Yes, I'm right, sunshine.
Beautiful.
Now, you've got, apart from your binding and your background fabric, you've probably got more than you need. So you're going to have some left over for your stash, or you want to make more flowers, whatever you'd like to do with it. You can always get more of the background fabric because it's one of the ones that we sell by the ½ metre.
Certainly is.
So
Certainly
that's the kit that I've used, and we've called that pastels. Pastel? It's pretty pastel colours.
But we were not going to stop there,
No,
were
well,
we,
you
Jane?
know, we love a bit of colour, don't we? And I thought, oh, I want to go darker shades because we're not all of us into pretty pastel colours. Some of us like something a little bit deeper and dynamic. And we've got these beautiful Moda grunges.
Yes, we have. So what are we using for what with this?
We are using the cream for the backing. That's cream, just a slightly warmer, deeper shade than the ivory.
One of the 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we've got lime punch
I
for the
love
stems
that.
and leaves. It's
Perfect.
lovely. Chose the heritage blue for the binding. Still carried on with the blue theme.
Yeah, no, I love this.
And then I think this is Cordovan. Nope, Tory. No, it is Cordovan. We've got Cordovan, Tory, Mango.
Nice.
In the grunges.
So
in
they
the flowers.
are just a shade deeper.
Yeah, just
Nice.
nice shade deeper. And then we've got golden salt batik for the centres.
Beautiful.
Just to add a little bit of...
So more texture on this one.
I think so. And it will give you a little bit of... The lovely thing about the grunges is you just get a little bit of different shading each time.
Yeah.
It's there, it's all the same, but it just gives you that little bit of difference.
So there's that bit of texture in there.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit more expensive than the plains, obviously, because you've got designer fabrics in there.
Yeah.
But
if you're not a pastel-y person, if you want something a little bit warmer, brighter,
they're still coming in at like 21 odd quid.
The thing with this is, I've thought about it, yes, it's lovely as a wall hanging, but you could use it as a centre of a quilt.
Oh, yeah.
You could just add plain borders round until you got it to the size that you wanted, or you could make blocks to go around it. You could have really good fun with it.
I think it's beautiful. And with all of these babies that are being born everywhere.
Yeah, make a lovely little baby quilt.
Beautiful. However, then you cafed it up.
I am growing more and more every day. I mean, I love Cafe to start with, but I'm growing more and more to love Cafe's fabrics. And because we've got such a wide selection of them, every day when I'm cutting, I'm like turning around and there's all this Cafe, and I'm like, oh, I want to do this with it, I want to do that with it.
It's a bit like immersion therapy for you.
Yeah, definite colour therapy. I've always sort of steered clear from Cafe to a degree because he was so big and bold. And as I'm a patchworker and I'm used to little tiny pieces, I've always felt that my patchwork didn't do his fabrics justice because I was cutting it up. And I've always, in my head, felt that you need to have big pieces with Cafe's fabrics. But actually, I'm learning that you don't. No. Because it's a little bit like a batik fabric because you can get so many things from one fabric. Yes. So
which to me makes it great value because it's like you've got multiple fabrics in one.
And you can have really good fun fussy cutting as well with Cafe's fabrics. So I've gone bright with these ones, I feel. Maybe not to everybody, might not think I'm bright, but for me it's bright.
Okay, no, that's okay, that's okay.
So we've gone white background because I think white with bright fabrics gives it a crispness.
It
so we've
does,
gone white for the
fresh.
background. Again, I've stuck with the blue and I've gone with sapphire because it's a deep turquoisey colour. But there's a little bit of it in each of the Cafe fabrics that I chose.
Oh, nice.
I'm learning.
Yay. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all learn from each other here.
And originally I went with a green solid for the stems and the leaves. And then I turned round and I was like, hang on, that's green over there. So that is that green. Amaryllis green.
Do you know what? If you look at that amaryllis though, if you fold it out a little bit, I think what you'll find is that it's got that blue in it too.
Yeah, well, that's another reason why I chose that.
Oh, Jane!
Yes. And
Beautiful.
I thought that, because it's got the veins in it, when you're doing your leaves, it'll give it a real texture for the leaves. And then for the petals, I've gone with, let me just do my notes here, Jupiter Blue. I love this.
I love that too.
It just, I don't know what, I can't work out whether it reminds me of those the book inside inserts that are like oil and water.
Yes, but it's is it
Jupiter?
Jupiter.
So I suppose it's based on the Jupiter. Is it Jupiter? No, Saturn's got the rings, hasn't it? But Jupiter's quite wavy fabrics. And then I've gone Enchanted Rust because of the beautiful reds, pinks and oranges in there. And again, you could get several different shades. You could go all pinks, you could go oranges, you could go lighter pinks. It's just, you could choose, you could fussy cut with this. And then for the yellowy tones, I have gone with this one. And again, you've got purples and pinks in here, so you could decide Dancing Dahlias Multi.
Love it.
And then a little bit of Sunshine Salt Batik.
Oh,
again,
Jen, you are our sunshine. Look at that.
Got a little bit of texture, but it's bright and it just pulls out all the brightness in there. So that's the Cafe.
What are you going to
collection.
demo in today then?
Well, I just chose a
Jane?
bit of the mode of grunge, but I have made a flower in a bit of Jupiter.
Have you?
Yes, because I love it.
Have you? I'm enjoying that tremendously. The beautiful thing about this, we've bought you 3 different kits, all at really good prices. And if you have maybe offspring that require something for Easter,
Yes.
you know, why not make them a lovely Eastery type quilt?
It's just a nice thing, and it's a sort of thing that you could make this wall hanging. It's a good way of having a practice at curved seams. Everybody's a little bit, curved seams are a bit sort of like, curved seams. But actually, they're not that difficult. They're a different type of patchwork. They're not a quick project. Takes a bit of time, I will admit.
That's all right.
If you've got a die cutting machine, you can get the dies for, it's called Drunkard's Path, the actual unit, because it traditionally it goes into a,
Right, yeah.
I think it's a 4 patch, and it makes a Drunkard Path design. It's just wiggly. But you can do anything with curves, can't you? You make flowers.
You can make flowers. Hang on a minute. So the creative grid that I've got that cuts,
I think
Circles.
Creative Grids do a Drunkard's Path template. I
not
don't
at the
want
moment.
to swear on that on
No,
my
not at the
on
moment.
my
It's out of
life,
stock,
but
I think, at the
I
moment.
had a feeling that they did.
They did at one point.
Yeah.
Whether they still do, I don't know. Are you stroking that mat again? You
Oh,
can't have
sorry,
it. Can
yes.
you? But I think they do. They certainly do a curve, like a stripology, but for curves,
Yes.
because it's in that corner down there.
Yeah.
Would that work?
I think, I don't know,
Okay.
but you
Just
need
to put
2
you on the spot.
templates for Drunkard's Path. So
So they do it every half inch increment.
yeah, so it might work. It might work. We'll have to have a look at
We'll
that.
have a look. We'll get back to you. Bear with us, caller. We'll get back to you.
I love this mat because it is, I mean, it's in inches. It's a yard. It's 36 inches long and 24 wide. So you can get your whole fabric, all your fabric, you know.
You can. It's the same size as the June Taylor. The June Taylor. So the difference
You know,
between
your
this and the
fabric
June
folded
Taylor.
over in half
Yeah.
as it comes to you like that. Fits on this mat perfectly. So with your long ruler, you can be cutting. Sometimes we just have to. It's slightly more. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because June Taylor's has a handle on it, but it feels slightly smaller.
So it's exactly the same cutting space. June Taylor's has a handle,
Yeah.
which was one of the reason that I went for the June Taylor one. Firstly, Creative Kids did not do this one then, but for me, because I lug it to Hochanda, having the handle was really
handle's
handy.
brilliant. And if you've got, if you haven't got a cutting room, you know, a sewing workspace, having that handle's brilliant for hanging it up flat,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we
yeah.
need to keep our mats flat, because
course
as
we
soon
do.
as you stand them up behind the settee, they're going to start curving.
Now on this one, this has got, you wanted this side because this has got 1/8 of inch increments. It's also got your 60-degree and
everything on it, the 60-degree, the
Yeah.
45-degree. It's even got lines for 1/8 of a yard, 1/4 of a yard, 1/3 of a yard, 3/8, half, 5, 2/3, 3/4, 7/8.
so when you get your quilt pattern and it's all in yards and
Yards.
you go, I don't know what that increment is because
You
I'm
can
so
put it
used
on
to
here
metric.
because we have
You've
metric.
got
You've
it
got
there.
it all there, and you can see at an instance. And it's typical creative grids: squares at 2.5 inch increments, stars at 1.5.
So it marries up with the stripology
It's all
markings as well. So the
So
other
you've got
thing
everything.
is, could you please flip it, because on the other side there's a less fussy grid.
Yeah,
So on the other side
this is upside down, but it doesn't matter.
you have inches
Inches and half
and
inches.
then half inches, which is so useful. But the thing I love about this,
You've got your 45-degree line.
for your bias binding, so you can
And
line your
60.
fabric up on there and cut your 45-degree bias binding. Had we had this yesterday, Jane, all my binding would have been
on the
bias, but we did not.
This is a lovely clear space.
Mm.
So if all of those 1/8 of an inch marks set your teeth on edge, this is the side that you'll be wanting to use. But I like this side best. I love
that
all
you-
this information on this mat. It's amazing. And of course, it's Creative Grids. It's quilting for quilters, isn't it? we know that they do the best
And that's the key.
when it comes to that measurement-wise.
Now, this is a self-healing cutting mat. So that's all good. So we now offer two. So we now offer two mats in this size. The June Tailor with the handle, which is not self-healing. It comes up, I like it because it comes up and it meets your fabric.
Yeah.
But it doesn't cut into it. This is a self-healing, which I'd always had before, and I think this is going to be our resident desk one.
Yes.
Because its
And
markings on it are so fantastic.
we know from experience the amount of cutting that we do, we wear self-healing mats out.
But we are unusual,
But
and only
we are
because we
cutting
cut,
hundreds of metres a day.
yeah, in the same space.
This will last you, if you look after it, keep it flat, it will last you. Keep it out of the heat, it will last you ages.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I hadn't realised until we started cutting, you know, that you could wear a self-healing one out,
Yeah.
but ordinary people don't
No,
cut. You know,
people
they're not for industrial use, which is effectively what we are.
Yeah, well, we are.
Mm.
As I say, we're cutting hundreds and hundreds of metres, aren't we, a day? Right then,
What we do, Jane?
we're going to make curve piecing. Curve piecing is not difficult, it's just a different technique. There's a lot of cutting out, but once you've got it all cut out, it goes together quite quickly.
Perfect.
The pattern's a bit big.
Yeah, so we need to
It's like,
explain this.
What? 40 images? What are you on about? There's 50 something steps in this. Only because I wanted to take you through. I made it in 3 panels. So I
Oh,
made,
hang on.
whoops.
There we go.
I made the middle panel, the left-hand side panel, the right-hand side panel, then put the panels together. So I've
Right.
gone through each step of each panel.
Ah, okay.
Which is why I could have said, right, well, we do step by step of the middle panel, and then I'll just say, right, well, you do left-hand panel the same, but you've got to add on in squares
you
at
did
the
not.
top. But I thought, we don't know that this is the first pattern that somebody picks up
Yeah.
ever. They
Yeah.
think, yeah, I'm going to have a go at this. And I just think it needs to be in a way that somebody that's never done it before can find it easy to follow. So yeah, if you're used to making curve piecing and you've done curve piecing before, you'll skip through the pattern and you'll go, oh yeah, I know, I understand that bit. You've got your templates in the back. If you get the digital version and you print this off yourself, make sure you print it off to actual size. This measurement from here to here on the A template needs to be 2 inches. And this measurement on the B from here to here needs to be 1 3/4.
Right.
The dotted line is your cutting out line, that's your 1/4 of an inch seam allowance.
I would template plastic it,
Yeah,
if I'm honest.
you will need to, because you're going to be cutting out a lot.
Yeah, so here's the thing. We have added £1, and I'm sorry we had to do it, but we've added £1 onto the price because there's a lot.
You've got
A lot.
17 sheets of 17 sides, 17 pages.
Yeah, of instructions here.
Of
So we just had to
instructions.
cover the extra printing cost. That's the only reason. But if you don't want to pay the extra £1 and you want to print it off for yourself, then you can download it digitally
Yeah.
and you're all good to go.
You need to trace this off onto template plastic. I recommend you do it onto template plastic, particularly if you're going to be thinking about possibly fussy cutting with the cave. The template plastic is harder wearing. Yes, you could do it onto cardboard, but your cardboard will wear and
When you can't see through it,
No,
fussy cut
and-
your cave.
it distorts over time. Drawing along the edge of a piece of cardboard distorts it, where your template plastic doesn't. What I would say to you is make the most of your straight edges of your template plastic. So line up that corner with the corner on there, and then you only have to draw that line there, and that line there.
Easy.
And the same with this one here. Line those 2 straight edges, that right angle up, with your template plastic, just to make life easier for yourself. What I would say was as well, do trace off the inner line, the actual line, and then if you are fussy cutting, you can see where that piece of fabric is going
Yeah.
to be with the seam allowance.
And we've got mark pens and stuff on the
Yeah.
website that work with the template plastic,
This
because that was the
template
other
plastic
thing.
is lovely. You've got like a slightly opaque, rough side, and you've got a smooth side. When you're tracing your template off, trace it off onto the rougher side. that's going to be easier for you. But then that side is the one that you want to have against your fabric because it gives it a bit of grip. So when you're tracing it off on your template off onto your fabric, use that slightly rough side. Also, it's always worth writing on the number and even writing on what it is. So that's got 2 inches on there and that's got 2 inches. Because you'll put them away in an envelope somewhere safe and then you'll be like, oh, I don't know what size this was. What was it for? It might even be worth writing on, you know, spring flower wall hanging or whatever you want to do.
I quilt and clip all mine together and keep them all together and what have you.
It's always worth putting as much information as you can onto your templates for future reference. It's always handy to have. I'll just pop that back together. Take your template off the back of your pattern, tape it down to a flat surface with a bit of sellotape or masking tape, and then place your template plastic over the top. It'll stop it moving around, it'll make it easier for you to trace off. You know, just take your time with it.
Jane, they never go back in the packets.
There we go, there we are, that's done. Love it. So that's doing your templates. You are going to need to trace that then onto your fabric. What I would suggest, again, be as economical with your templates as you can.
Well, always with your fabric,
with the fabric,
I would say.
You know, you'll have straight edges of your fabric. Line up the straight edge of the corners of your template, and then you've only got to trace over one side. I found that the felt tip markers that we've got, I say felt tip, they're not felt tips, you know, the wash away and the fade away, they're a little bit too thick. They go smoother on the fabric, but they give you a thicker line. Now the thicker your line and then you cut it, you're going to be adding a little bit to your template each time, and it might not come out as equally. So as I say, just use your straight edges on your fabric, line them up, draw around them. When I have done hand piecing classes before, I have got at home, and I meant to bring it and I forgot all about it until it's just come into my head again, a chopping board, not a big chopping board, one of the plasticky ones, and glued to that is a piece of sandpaper. And I put my fabric on top of that. So the sandpaper holds the fabric and stops it moving around when you put your template on.
Curious.
That's always nice to have.
I like that idea.
You've got a straight edge there. Line your straight edge of your template up against it. You're only going to cut that once, so you might as well just
it saves time, doesn't it? It just saves time.
And it saves fabric. You know, be as economical with your templates as you can. Trace them off. You're going to need quite a few. It tells you exactly how many of each in the pattern that you need.
Nice.
You'll need so many of the background, your petal fabric, you'll need 4 of each one of that of template A. The B, you'll need 4 for each flower of the yellow, and you'll need it for the petals and the leaves. It tells you exactly how many for each one. And then you're going to cut it out, and really the only way to cut out things that you've drawn onto fabric with, particularly with the curve, is to use your scissors. Now I heard you saying yesterday that the best thing to do is to use big scissors, and you're right.
Oh.
There's no point in trying to do it with tiddly fiddly ones.
No.
You can't cut round template plastic with your rotary cutter because you'll start trimming bits off. It's not thick enough. Yeah. And you might trim bits off your fingers as well.
Oh,
even with the really tiny 18-inch one that we've got, which is really handy, it really isn't worth putting yourself at risk for. So go back to the traditional way and cut them out with scissors.
I guess that's the thing, isn't it? At some point, we used to have to cut them with scissors.
You know, there's something about just slowing it down and cutting out. It's a bit like colouring.
Yeah,
just
that
slowing yourself
mindfulness,
down,
isn't it?
a bit mindful. You could sit in an evening, you could draw all your templates out, sit in an evening, do all the cutting out.
Perfect.
Just
Perfect.
takes, it takes longer, but it's worth doing it.
You know what would go very nicely, actually? I'm just sat here next to the cushion.
Shall I? Yeah, just put it on.
Should we just pop it next to it?
Yeah. I wanted to put the shaggy for the yellow, but
Yeah, we
there
haven't got
isn't
enough.
enough.
No, there's not enough
of it. But look at that. Doesn't that look gorgeous with it? Very spring and fresh like. So when you've cut all your templates out, you're going to need to then sew them together to make your curved pieces.
And this is where people stress, isn't it, and worry?
Yeah, curved piecing is a little bit, it's not a straight edge. How am I going to manage?
Slowly.
Slowly, pins. Lots of pins, but
There's a cheat way, right?
there's a cheat way.
Yay!
Sally Stevens showed me this way and I was like, what?
It was Lucy Brennan showed me.
Yeah.
We've all got that person that
Yeah.
showed us, and we're like very grateful to them for
Yes,
it.
because you're going to need to have, that's your centre flower, your middle of your flower, that's your petal and that's your leaf. Again, the pattern tells you how many of each one you need to make. So I'm going to show you how to do all of them. We'll do it the traditional with the pins way, and then I'll show you with the glue stick, glue pen. So you've got your template B, is it B, that one? No, that's A, and this is B. So the first thing you've got to do is you want them to be central, because when you put them together like that, they don't even fit together. And you're like, what? That's bigger, it doesn't fit, what am I doing? You haven't done anything wrong, it's fine. Take the right sides together of your A piece, fold it in half, and just pinch it in the middle. Finger press it, just give it a pinch. And then take wrong sides together of your curved piece, template B, give that a pinch, and then you can place them right sides together, lining up those pinched pieces. You probably can't see it very well on here, but if I do it on the plane, it might show up a little bit better.
Yeah, Claire just said, oh, it's pieced curves. I thought it was a plique. Nah. Jane has worked her stitchy witchy magic again.
So you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's a crease.
Do you want to
there.
go close up, Jane? That
Shall
would
we do
solve
it?
all problems, wouldn't it?
It might do.
Yeah.
Can we see the crease on there? Yeah, you can see the
there
crease on
you
there.
go.
And you can see that. So wrong sides together on your template B, your curved piece, and right sides together on the A piece. And then you put them right sides together and you place a pin along that crease.
Okay.
Boom, like that. I'm going to do this one with pins
Okay.
because I can.
Because you can.
Because I can. So you pop the pin in where the two creases join together in the middle. Now you're going to take the outside edge of A and you're going to bring it level with piece B. So they line up straight across. Which again makes you go all funny because you're like, it doesn't fit, what have I done wrong?
But it's okay,
fine.
right?
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
Don't panic, breathe.
And breathe.
Pin that. Now then, you're going to just give it a little bit of a tug and smooth it. And you will find that those edges will then come together.
So because we've cut on the bias.
Yeah, you've got biased
Right.
edges and they've got a bit of stretch to them. So it's all fine. And you're going to pop a pin in. I would suggest you put a couple of pins in just to hold it because it does like to spring back. And you might find that you have to, wiggle it and move it around a little bit, but it fits. And then you do the same with this side. Now I found, and it's only me, that I have to put the pin in the other way so it sticks outwards.
That says it's like trying to fit my backside into last year's jeans. We're all there.
Yeah, we're all there. And then again, just manipulate it, give it a little stretch and give it a little tug, and it will come together. What you do find is the Salt Batik has a little bit less give than the other fabrics, so it just does sometimes feel like you're having a bit of a battle, but it does go together.
It's worth a battle, I think.
Yeah. So you've got all these pins in like that. So it looks like a carnage is about to happen. But it's worth just taking the time and just giving it a little bit of a pin. And just lining it all up, making sure that it all fits together. Because it will fit together, it just takes a little bit. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's like everything, isn't it?
Mm.
You know, practice makes perfect. And then you're just going to sew that down.
Now you see
Taking your pins out as you go.
that was
the
not
machine doesn't come unthreaded.
Oh, it's doing that a little bit at the minute.
Yeah, something seems to be captured inside. I don't know.
There's a thread that's caught in the tensioner.
Well, that could be it.
And
strip it.
We need to just get it out there. I thought I'd got it all out, but I haven't. So soz about that. Now Elizabeth said something about what did you say, Elizabeth, about how to clean it through? There was a way that she suggested, because I haven't. Something snapped. It got caught in there and snapped the other day, and I don't think I got it all out. Sorry.
It happens. It's not a problem. We have the power. We just have to make sure we've got a long enough thread. So just take your time and sew around that curve, and you will find that your machine is quite happy to do this gentle curve, and with a little guidance, it will go around. I've been naughty and sewn over my pins. No disasters happened. We're fine. And you've got. We can go a close up on that.
Oh, we can always do that. Yeah.
It just goes around on that curve, and then we'll just eke that out. And it's always best to put the seam under the curve. And it's a little bit creased, and I have pinched a little bit there. If it goes really bad, you can unpick it and re-sew it, because sometimes you'll catch it underneath and it'll get a little tuck in it, and that's fine. And you just give that a press then, and it'll iron out these little creases.
Nice.
And it's quite helps if you've got the iron on.
Oh, you want everything, don't you? Electricity and everything. What was I going to say? That helps if I actually change the angle for everyone to see. That was not the technique I thought you were going to use.
It's quite straightforward. It's not hard. And if you're a dressmaker and you're used to easing seams into arms, you won't have a problem at all.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Glue pen method is exactly the same.
That's the method that Lucy taught me.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I thought you were going to do.
Your glue pen, it will hold it enough to stick it down. Line it up the same way as we have before, pinching, and pop a pin in it. It just helps to have that pin in. Just run the glue pen along that curve, and then you line up again like you did before. Just holding it in those corners and giving it a little bit of a stretch and an eke out.
Bit of a wiggle.
And it will line up, and the glue holds it enough to keep it together. And then take the other side and do the glue pen along there. If you have problems with your dexterity, find it difficult handling pins and small areas in confined spaces, this glue pen is a godsend.
I'm not going to lie, that's the way I would do it.
Yeah, and it's quicker.
Yeah.
It is quicker. But, you know, some of us know what we like, and we like to stick with the way that we know. Neither way is wrong, and it's always good to learn new techniques, particularly if they save you time. And again, you just sew in that then, 1/4 of an inch, just taking your time. It's not really something that you can chain piece, although you could if you glued them all together and then had them.
And so this is, for all of the curves, this is the technique?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then again, it just folds through. Just finger press it. I actually didn't take these to the ironing board at all until I'd actually pieced them together into bigger units. I just
really?
left them finger pressed because I felt that was enough. Yeah, it's a little bit creasy, but that's just because it's cotton fabric and that's what it does. So we'll just go through that glue method again. Wrong sides together for the top curve piece to get that crease in. Just a finger press, just to hold it. Line up the creases with the pin. Pop the pin in along that crease. You could put a dab of glue on there if you wanted to. Just run the glue pen along that curve and then line them up as you would do if you were pinning it. In the instructions, I've used the pin method just because my glue pen had run out and I hadn't got one.
Jane, what do we always say about glue pens? You should always keep at least 2 refills.
And I should have refills. And you know what? I went to my box and I was like, where's the refills gone?
Oh.
But these things happen.
You'll be taking a little trip to the warehouse this afternoon,
my
won't
house
you?
of wares will be, my shopping list will be growing.
There
we go, just easing that round. There we go. Just, you know, use your fingernails just to ease it. And your fingers just to press the glue together. And it's enough just to hold it while you then sew it. It's easy to do. Just make sure that you keep the A fabric out of the way. I have a couple of occasions just sewn an additional crease in there because as it comes down like that, it folds itself back naturally. So you just have to make sure that you just keep that eased in and out of the way.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, it unpicks, but it's frustrating when it happens. So there we go. Those are your three units that you'll need to make your flower with. You've got the centre unit with one of the petal colours and your flower centre, your yellow. You've got your petal fabric with a background fabric, which in this case is the cream, I think. And then we've got the leaf. Okay. I've realised I've just cut ivory and cream here, look. So we're going to have an interesting background, patchwork background.
That's okay. Texture.
Texture.
Elizabeth says there's more than one way to skin a potato.
Definitely.
Yes. I think every cat is relieved by that
Yes.
remark, you know.
That's just been sewn together wrong. I'll have to unpick that one. I was just going to say, this is your petal corner. Look, this is the one I did with the caif.
Oh,
Look at
Boom.
that.
Yes. Yes.
This is a bit gorgeous.
I don't think there is anything other than yes that needs to be said there.
I didn't even think about the way the stripy bits were going. I didn't fussy cut that at all. I just laid the templates on, cut as many as I needed and cut them out. So, I mean, you could have even more fun by thinking about the direction of the stripes and making them all go the same way. It's entirely up to you. I quite like that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Sort of randomness of it because it adds to the movement of the flower.
Lo says, laughing at now, she's dealing with things in confined spaces, as you just said. She's got a picture of Jeff in tight boxes.
Ooh.
I mean, that's now an image that we'll all have.
Yes.
Which might replace the me
Oh,
old bamboo, me old bamboo. Although she'd quite like to see you dancing.
Yes.
You know, to that. And singing.
What is it? Because Gemma
possible.
wanted me to be dancing it as well. I was like,
I think we just all want you to dance.
That's it.
Lo's now going to have a coffee and behave. I believe she's going to have a coffee. I don't believe she's going to behave. I don't believe that for a second.
Don't behave, Lou. We don't want that.
No. And Pam says this is a safe space. So don't be silly. It's fine. It's fine.
That's
Whether
the
Jeff
wrong way
feels
round.
that, I don't know. Poor old Jeff.
Oh. I'm sure that he's used to her now.
Used to. How many years have you two been married, Lo? Come on. If he's not used to you by now.
Yeah, sorry about this, folks. I just slammed that together and didn't look at it, and it's like,
What happened?
hang on, that's not the right way around. I just sewn the wrong side.
Oh,
You want
it happens.
this and that to go that way, so the curves both face the same way because ultimately it goes like that. So I'll just do that and show you.
What you needed 40 steps, Jane, to
Yes, it probably might help, mightn't it?
follow.
It never ceases to amaze me that you can write a pattern and then still put it together wrong.
Always. Yeah. What did I sew wrong the other? I sewed something completely wrong. Oh no, I cut something completely the wrong way around the other day.
Yeah,
happens.
it just happens. These things, they just like to keep you on your toes, don't they?
Completely.
So I'm just going to sew that back together. I'm not going to talk about this. I'm just making it right because I just want to show you what we're aiming towards, and then I'll go through it in a proper, orderly fashion, as they say.
With regard to skinning cats, Elizabeth wouldn't dare say it because HP might be present.
Yeah.
She's not in here today, actually. I don't know where she is.
We've
I
said
do know. She's on the sofa.
Yeah,
in the
we
hall.
said good morning this morning because she was still on well, I'm sure that she has moved, but she was in exactly the same place as I left her yesterday. She was in the sunshine yesterday when I left her. She was loving it because she likes to be warm, bless her.
She comes and
of her
lies
old-
on the pressing mat, doesn't she? Have you done it wrong again?
I've sewn it on the wrong side. I obviously can't talk and sew at the same time
It's okay.
today. I do apologise.
Why don't you try singing and giving us a dance at the same time? Because that might help.
Yeah. It really aids concentration.
It's all good. Let's face it, we've all done it.
It happens, doesn't it? And this is like, just what I'm saying to you is take your time and concentrate.
Helen said I had problems with the tension and cotton sticking, so she called Dukey and turned out the cotton was the problem. You see, they're good. They'll always talk you through anything.
Yeah, they'd always help you.
They'll always help. And did I find out what was the matter with my baby beast? It had been knocked on after it, because it started making that noise after it come back from service, didn't it?
Yes.
And it just had been banged on the way, when it had been transported. And you do wonder, don't you? I mean, I had something delivered yesterday. I had a new machine delivered yesterday, not a sewing machine, and the delivery guy dropped it on the front doorstep.
Yeah, they do, don't they? They just go.
He literally dropped it by accident. Literally dropped it, and I knew what was in it, and on my face I was like, no, don't drop that one. So if they don't know what's in it, things get slung about. But
it never ceases to amaze me when it's got fragile stickers all over it and it's
all
still
over the
like
rumpled. So so that's fine. Dukey will just take it straight back again and sort it out for me. I just need to actually book it in. That's on me, isn't it? I get caught up and forget.
That's the right way. We'll get there. Sorry about this, folks.
That's all right.
I just wanted to show you what we were aiming towards, and then I'll go through it step by step. This is why I'm just sort of frantically sewing and not saying very much.
Oh, sorry. Lo and Jeff aren't married.
Oh.
No. But been together for 13 years.
Well, I think he must be used to you now, Lo.
Yeah, she said he is just a complete darling, an enabler, and says it's not about wanting something. If it makes me happy, it is needed. He is my complete world.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Oh, that is so lovely.
There we are. That's what we're aiming for. And in my Mickey Mouse ears.
Remember it? Amazing. I mean, that's another look, right?
That's what we're aiming for.
You could do a Mickey Mousey type quilt, couldn't you?
Yes, you could.
Yeah. Elizabeth and her John, they're having a trial period at living together just to see if it works. It's only been 32 years. I think that's quite a good trial.
That's a good trial, yeah.
I'd say yes.
It's a keeper.
Yeah. Morning, Val. How are you? Oh, morning, Candida as well. She's here, and Helen and Catherine and Marie and Sue and Wendy and Severine as well. Good morning.
I am going to just cut another piece because I don't seem to have enough of the green pieces for some reason. Good prep this morning, Jane. Fantastic. Really well organised.
Oh no, I'm just laughing at Lo. She said, plus she'd need to tell her husband about him and get divorced. I mean, yeah, you know, details. If it's on a need to know basis, right?
We had a friend once, and she used to introduce.
Now, morning, Sarah.
That I know he's her husband as the married man that I live with, and for years I was like, lives with a married man. And she actually meant that she was married to him, and it was her husband. But I thought that's a funny way of introducing somebody. This is the married man that I live with.
Do you know what? It's whatever works.
Yeah, it's good. It's a sense of humour, isn't it? And it's lovely. So I'm just cutting an extra B for the green because for some reason I can't count.
I don't think that counting was ever part of the job description, if I'm honest.
Well, the maths for patchwork is quite important.
I know. But honestly, you should have heard Gemma and me trying to work out the pricing for this, and it involved fractions.
Oh.
I had to go. I couldn't. Tried to do it on a calculator. I couldn't do it. I had to go and get a piece of paper and a pen.
Sometimes
and work it out that way. That was the only way I could do it.
To have it on a piece of paper and a pencil. Go to the old school.
I'm not going to lie. The 7 and 8 times tables were my least favourite.
Yeah, I struggle with the 8.
Yeah.
I struggle with 8 times.
I had got bored by that stage. 9 is easy because you can just count it back on your fingers. That's fine. And 10 is an absolute doddle and a breeze. But yeah, the 7 and 8 timetable, I think a lot of people struggle with. And of course, quilting is all about the 8s, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. So yeah, that was fun. But you know, you just need to do things more to get better at them, don't you?
Well, this is it. We said, haven't we? Practice makes perfect.
Are you well, Sarah Payne Quilter? I haven't seen you for ages. It used to be that we would meet up and have a little sneaky, you know, cup of tea or something in between shows when I was at Hochanda, but of course everything's been shut. We haven't been able to do it.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore. No
We
meeting up and having sneaky cups of coffee anymore.
I know. We would sit.
I think we've got a couple, 3 more weeks, haven't we?
Socially distanced at a table and have a good old gossip.
Yeah.
So Sarah, can you book that in, please, for when we can do such things? Yeah, Elizabeth says it looks like a mouse. Get your EQ thingy out again, Natasha. Oh, now, Elizabeth, a word to the EQ-wise. So, obviously, a lot of you last week tuned in to my Hochanda show with the EQ thingy. By EQ thingy, I mean Electric Quilt 8, and it's sold out. Like, the first lot sold out in 6 minutes, and then the extended delivery stock sold out by the end of the show. So it's not available there anymore. But the supplier said that if we take orders for it, then as soon as the next batch comes in from America, it's ours.
Wonderful.
So if you want an Electric Quilt 8, which if you don't know what it is, watch on Rewind, the Hochanda show that I did, where we take you step by step. It is a computer program. It's for Mac and PCs because you just download it now. And it's just phenomenal. For someone who is, I was going to say not at all PC. I don't mean that. Not at all comfortable with computers is what I mean.
Yeah.
I try and beat PC sometimes. Then it's just brilliant. And you design a lot of your quilts on the
I do.
EQ7.
I mean, I've still got graph paper and a pencil, which I start plotting things out. But when I want to actually put that into a quilt scenario, I've got EQ7, which is the younger version.
Well, they've also offered me the update. So if you want to upgrade from EQ7 to EQ8, it costs less if you've already got EQ7. So
brilliant.
Could you, if anybody is interested, either pop a little comment down here or email SJ, and her morning SJ, by the way, I haven't said good morning to you or Josh this morning. It is info@natashamakes.com. I did sing to Josh, to be fair, when we were checking the mics this morning.
I think that made his morning.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if my singing would make anyone's morning. But, you know, nice of you to say.
So we're going to make, obviously, 4 of these, 4 quarters to make the whole flower. And these are the leaf patterns. And we've got a left and a right.
Oh, I like.
So it's straightforward if you can remember which way it goes, and obviously in the pattern is a step-by-step process so you can follow it and not do what I do and go, oh yeah, slam that together and sew it. You want, for your bottom half of that, it's a 4 patch, you want the yellow curve in the bottom right hand corner and the petal curve on the left hand side facing the opposite way. And just join those together. They should be the same size. If you want to take your petal bit, your curved bits to your mat and trim them up, they need to be 2.5 inch squares. If that really bothers you that they're a bit wobbly and a bit out of shape. But they work, they do go together, and there's no seam matching at this point, so it's not too worrisome. And you can start chain piecing at this point if you wish.
This is going to be lovely and methodical.
Yeah.
Margaret says, Jane Alcock has just reminded me of a time I introduced my current husband, and I was asked, well, how many husbands have you had? I answered, do you mean of my own? Or should I count other people's? Had to be done, she said. I like that, cutting wit, cutting wit.
Yes. Terry Wogan used to say about his wife, the current Mrs. Wogan,
Yeah.
as if he'd had more.
Yeah.
What's gone on now? Broken the...
What have you broken?
Come on. That's it. I'm
Are
going
we
to do that by
constantly
hand. I just think
needle
I'm
threading?
wrecking your machine.
Oh, no, that's right. Jan said, wow, she's another one. Thought they were applique flowers. Though I did wonder why the background cream was pieced. Awesome, teeny curves, Jane. Jane's a wonder. She's a wonder.
I just like to bring you different techniques, and I think curved piecing sometimes gets sort of a bad press because it's curves. It's not difficult.
Elizabeth, I did say once, I've only ever had one husband. He wasn't mine. I gave him back. My little brother was horrified at my remark. Then I heard him saying the same about a wife to all his mates. Yeah, horrified he didn't think of it first, Elizabeth. That's the thing. Teeny tiny curves.
These are 2.5 inch. So, I mean, you could use your jelly roll strips to make these.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah,
You know,
if you've
your
got a little
template's
bit
going to
left
fit
over.
on your jelly roll.
Well, that's perfect.
So you've got all of those. Press the seams one way, press them all the same way. I tend to press it against the straighter seam, so that's going towards...
Is that going towards the outside?
the flower
Oh.
middle, if on that one, because you've got a straight edge there. As I say, I did a lot of this just finger pressing because they're such small pieces.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, the top part of the petal, this part here, you're going to put 2 curves together to make a semicircle. So when you're lining them up, the seams are going to be going the same way.
Right.
So it's worth just popping a little pin just against the seams down there to hold them together,
Right.
just so they don't move. Don't worry about what's going on this side or this side, just make sure that that seam matches up, because if that's out, that's going to be really obvious.
Okay.
Oh.
It's annoying, isn't it? We do need to clear that out.
I'm going to strip this machine down when I've finished today and just...
Thing is, you think how much we do
I
on
was
that
going to
machine.
say, poor thing, and it was
works
coping with
blinking hard.
toweling yesterday, wasn't it? So it's,
I think
it's
it
a
loves a bit of
beautiful
toweling.
machine, and it just doesn't complain about anything, does it? It just sews, and it's just amazing.
I did put a new needle in it yesterday.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
feel it's had some love.
Yeah. We do love it. We do love it. It's a beautiful machine.
Although it does need a bit of a clean out.
Yeah.
Did you see actually, so many of you have gone for the machine cleaning kit. We should really probably use one of those. as we do stock them.
Yes, as we stock them.
You know, that
Would be helpful.
Yeah.
So at this point, you know, you can do a little bit of chain piecing.
Oh,
you know,
nice.
once you've
Why
made all
not?
your curves, once you start joining them together, it's quite an easy way to, you know, chain piece each bit as you go. I always say read through your pattern first, but I'm as guilty as the next person of thinking, oh, I just want to get on with it. I'm just going to start. I'll go step by step. But if you read through your pattern, you can make all your curves, make all your flowers, put them together and just start making them. You don't make the flower into one piece just before you start rushing ahead. You won't make it into a whole flower before you start joining it, but we'll get to that bit. So I'm pressing the seam on this one the opposite way to the bottom too.
Right.
Just because I can then nestle that seam up in the middle, but I also want to make sure that the seams on this side are lined up. So again, I'll just stick a pin in along that seam line just to be sure. And again, in the middle, just so I want that to line up. We don't have to worry at this end so much because there's no seam matching.
Oh, that's nice. I like a bit of no seam matching.
There's no hassle there.
Perfect.
And you can do the twiddly bit on this if you wanted to. I didn't, just because I couldn't be bothered, to be honest. I just thought, oh, I just want to get it made and put together. But you could. You could do that little twiddly bit and just have that lying flatter.
You can twiddle should you wish. I think that is
because it's a full patch at the end of the day. It's 4 patches sewn together with that seam matching in the middle. So just lining up that seam at the side where the 2 curves meet and then making sure it lines up in the middle, just so that it looks nice when it's sewn together and it looks like it all matches up. You're going to have quite odd shapes in places because you have been working with curves, you have stretched your fabric.
Yeah.
And as I say, if you want to, if you feel that way, I didn't best press my fabric first because I knew I was going to have to pull it about.
Right.
But once you've made them, if you want to give it a splash with your savvy starch or your best press, that's the time to do it. And then trim them up to make sure that they're 2.5 inch squares. If you're that sort of person that has to have everything precise and all neat.
How do you feel about that, Jane?
I haven't got time. I just like, come on, I want to get this made.
There speaks the voice of honesty and truth. Come on, let's just get this made.
Let's just get it made. The thing is, I've been doing this for a while now, and I do know that, you know, your seam allowance is quite forgiving and you can get away with hiding quite a lot in your seam. And as long as you've got more than 1/8 of an inch seam on one side, it will work and it will go together. And if you're going to do quilting on top, that's going to hold it as well. So I'm all for teaching people to do it the right way, but at the same time I know that once you know how to do it the right way, your patchwork can be quite forgiving and you don't have to stress about it too much.
I think you're right. I remember when I was doing GCSE art, I just couldn't get my head round Picasso. I was really, really struggling, just going, I don't understand. How come we are made to draw things exactly and Picasso gets away with a right wibbly wobbly mess? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I just didn't get it. And my dad, I remember him saying to me, you have to remember, Picasso drew like Rembrandt by the age of 13.
Yeah.
Where do you go from there?
Exactly.
When you know the rules,
yeah, when you know,
that's when you can break them.
And I think when you know the rules, you understand why they happen.
Yes.
So then you can understand what you can do to bend them slightly.
Yeah. But I'll never forget that comment. He could draw like Rembrandt by the age of 13. Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
I'll crack on with my little
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have 4 petal shapes like so.
But these are beautiful.
And then you're going to join 2 of them together so that you've got a semicircle of your yellow fabric.
Please sew them together because all I can see right now are Mickey Mouse ears.
Well, when they're sewn together, they look even more like Mickey
Gonna look
Mouse
even
ears.
more, aren't they? Yeah.
And again, you've got a seam there to match, but it's more, well, they're both important to match up the curve of the yellow. So you've got a little space in between, but try and make sure that they are lined up. And if you want to, you can push one of the seams out of the way so that they do nestle, if it helps you. You know, feel free to do that. It will, if it helps you, it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, we're all just seeing Mickey Mouse.
It's all Mickey Mouse ears, that's all you see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the more you try not to see it, the more you see it.
Oh, it hasn't come on thread again, has it?
Yeah, it has. It doesn't.
There's something in there, isn't there? That's
There's
really
something not happy
happy
about, but we're okay. We can. It's still sewn beautifully. It's obviously not, like you say, it must be something with the tension wire in the side, but it's fine.
Do you know, Elizabeth's just, she says, I've just seen the E on the shelf. I'm like, what E on the shelf? And I'm busy
Put the
looking.
template plastic
Yeah, no,
up
I
there.
didn't realise that you had. And I'm
I
busily.
thought, where can I put that? And it won't get lost. And I thought, I know, I'll just stick it up there. It'll be fine.
Oh, you mean the see-through template plastic?
Yeah.
That I hadn't spotted.
Well, I
So-
thought I'm likely to remember that I've done that when Natasha says, oh, I can't find the E template.
Old eagle-eyed Elizabeth has spotted the E.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. There we go. You know when you come in on the end of a conversation, I haven't followed everything on Facebook this morning.
Yeah.
To just hear, or the back end of a bull.
It's like, what?
I have no idea. Can you imagine who it is that said it?
It'll either be Lo or Liz. Or Elizabeth.
Right. Bingo. Jan said, did you know that they considered calling him Mortimer Mouse?
Yes,
That
I
would
do
have been
remember.
very
It would have been
grand, wouldn't it?
different altogether.
Mortimer Mouse. Morty Mouse, he'd have been.
Yeah. So we've got that one. That one's.
Would he have had to have worn a top hat if he was Mortimer?
It sounds grander, doesn't it, than Mickey? Well, let's save this time.
Mortimer. I considered calling my first cat Mortimer.
It's very grand.
It is, and he was a very grand cat, but he ended up being called Hugo.
That's quite a grand name.
And
as
he
well.
was indeed the boss.
Yes, Hugo Boss. So we've got 2 lots of half flower, and we stop there. Just leave them at that stage.
Oh, I now see what Lo is saying, as in the back end of a bull. As in,
Right.
that's if you spin it upside down.
Yeah.
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 You promised you'd have coffee and behave. That did not happen, did it, Lo? And that's fine. We're comfortable with that.
So our leaves, as I said, we've got a left-hand leaf and a right-hand leaf, and it's just that they face the opposite way. You're just going to have your bottom one facing with the curve up towards the right-hand side, and the top one with the curve at the bottom left-hand side, and you join them together. And again, there's no seam matching, so that's all good.
Yeah, it makes life easier, doesn't it?
It
For
does.
sure.
Ooh.
Oh, morning, Patricia. And who else we got with us? Jacqueline, good morning to you. And Rebecca as well, and Susie.
It's lovely having all these familiar names.
It's
watching.
really
It's
nice.
really nice. Part of a gang.
Oh, Julia says, hang on. Someone just rang. Wasn't urgent. How rude. These people, yeah, I mean, I cancel calls during the show.
And then we've got the right-hand one, and again, it's just the opposite way. You've got the bottom curve facing up to the top left-hand side, and the top curve at the bottom right-hand side.
Very clever. Very
Just to
clever.
give you the leaf shape.
I could see one of these on a cushion or so, just one.
Yeah,
just down
you
in
could
the
make
corner.
it. I mean, I've made mine long and tall and thin, but you could make them shorter and squatter. You know, once you've got the process, you can play around with it and make it your own.
Of course you can. And that's the beautiful
Which
thing,
is
isn't
the
it, about
beauty of
these?
patchwork, I think.
Yeah. Yep, yep.
So you'll have, for this, I'm doing the middle panel, so we need 4 leaves and we need 2 left hand and 2 right hand leaves. And this is where I've got the wrong colour. No, those are the wrong colour. You've got your background fabric and 2.5 inch squares, and you're just going to sew those into pairs with a straight seam. We need 4 pairs, 8 squares for the middle panel, and we can just chain piece those. I'm going to have to get to the habit of just holding the thread before I start sewing. I think that's what it is. Like we used to before we had automatic thread cutters and all of that sort of thing.
All that jiggery pokery.
All that modernness.
Yeah, or we just don't automatic thread it. It's almost like it's cutting it too short all of a sudden, isn't it?
I think it's just the tension's a little bit tight on it, so when it comes through, it...
Oh, look.
Jem's bought me a present.
Receive. Thanks,
Look, she bought me a
Jem.
present.
Oh, there you go, Jane.
That's lovely.
Something to go home with. Oh, Donna says, I've sent my hubby shopping. Only one is allowed in our supermarket, which means I can watch. Yay! That's good, isn't it? That's really good. I went to a supermarket for the first time in months. I say supermarket. I bought petrol.
Yeah.
And went into like the bit that goes with it.
Yeah.
That was as far as I managed to get. Felt quite, you know.
It's a bit alien, isn't it?
I walked up and down every aisle just because I could.
Yeah.
Just to see what there was.
See what there is.
Yeah.
It's like...
I felt like I'd
being
had
in
a
a
day
completely
out.
new place, and it's like, I've been out. I've been to the supermarket.
I have. Yeah, I mean, wow, get me.
And again, just press these seams to one side, the opposite side to the way that you've pressed them on your 4 patch.
Perfect.
On your leaves, I mean, not your 4 patch, because we're making 4 patches. And you can take it to the iron and press them, but as I say, I'm just finger pressing at this stage just to get them together. And what you're going to do, on the left-hand side leaves, you're going to sew the 4 patch to the left-hand side of those, and on the right-hand one, you're going to sew them onto the right-hand side.
And do they don't all go at the same height though, do they?
No.
Oh.
And this is where we then have the 4.5 inch squares that go into the background. And this is where you can play with how you want and where you want your leaves to go.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you something as well. When I've got these leaves together, I'll show you something else that I was...
You got more magic stitchiness.
Well, I was just, when I originally designed it, I got my leaves going in a different way.
What?
And then I looked at it, and because it's tall and skinny, I decided I wanted the leaves to go the way they are.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Absolutely fair enough.
Because I wanted that sort of naive, folksy style, and that to me is like when children draw something. That's the style I was sort of...
That naive.
Yeah, that naive sort of...
So Emily draws a lot. I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
And she is always adamant about what it is that she's drawn.
Yeah.
You know, to us it's just scribbles, but
She knows
she'll
exactly
tell
what
you
she is,
exactly what she has drawn. And I don't remember being like that as a child. I guess we all are, aren't we? You know, when we start to draw, no, that's definitely Daddy. I mean, it's just a squiggle, but it was definitely Daddy, definitely dinosaur, definitely me. I'm glad they didn't get mixed up. But her favourite new thing is that she likes to scribble in cards, inside cards, and she says that she's writing. She writes letters to people because she's that's what she's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because she's seen other people doing it, and she's seen, you know, probably when you write, you probably write quite quickly, and she's following that motion, isn't she? Which is for her, bless her, because she hasn't started forming letters just yet.
No, well, she's only 2.
Well, this is it. Will look like what she's doing.
Yeah. But she's got the format and the layout of it.
Yeah.
Right. She was watching Freddie writing his thank you cards after his birthday. That was when it started, which is a very long, drawn out, slightly painful process.
Yeah, we all remember not really wanting to be bothered to write thank you cards.
I know, but if he wants the presents, he's got to write the thank you cards.
This is it.
That's
it's a
the
good
end
lesson
of that.
to learn.
Well, I just think, and I think the same in restaurants, you know, people work really hard for their money,
Yes,
and they could spend it on anything. And, you know, the fact that someone has chosen to spend that money, and it's the same with time and with handmade gifts, the fact that someone has chosen to spend that time or that money or both on you is a real mark of what they think of you.
Yeah.
And so it's getting him to appreciate that.
Yeah.
And not just be like, oh, well, you know, easy come, easy go. We'll have none of that. I have no truck with that.
So when I was doing the leaves originally, I looked at them this way. And actually, when I came to do it, they look less leaf-like going horizontally than they do when they're going vertically.
Well, they grow up towards the sun.
Yeah. And it's really funny, isn't it? Because, I mean, you can make your curves with less of background in. You can make them really skinny, so they come right across. But I quite like this not quite together look to it.
I'm enjoying it.
So when you're going to start bringing this together, you make it in 2 halves. So you make the left hand and then the right hand.
Okay.
So we've got the 2 petal pieces at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then we add, on the left-hand side, we add a square. Then we add a leaf. Then we add a square. And then another leaf.
Perfect.
So we'll do that. And what I'm going to do is in the instructions, I've done it one at a time. So I said, add a square to the bottom of there.
Yeah.
But for quickness now, and if you want to do this, if you want to lay it out and do it, I'm just going to sew these together into pairs.
Okay, no, that's fine. See, Ali says, I haven't been to a supermarket for 14 months as I've been shielding. The first time is going to be totally weird. It really is.
I mean, I go once a fortnight, maybe once every 3 weeks. Glenn tends to do most of the shopping, to be honest.
I'm just very grateful for online shopping.
But I'm just like, I mean, my mum hasn't been. She has online shopping. She hasn't been for over 12 months. And I get a little bit like, oh, get away from me. It's like, this person.
It's very peoply out there. Just
and
stop being so peoply.
There's like staff doing filling the trolleys.
Well, their job.
Yeah, doing their job, filling the trolleys with people's online shopping.
Yeah.
And you're like, just get away from me. Just 2 meters, please. But they've got like...
They've got to do the job.
They've got to do their job.
Yeah.
And they're all masked. Everybody's wearing a mask, and they're very careful. There's the station for cleaning your trolley down before you go in, and making sure that you do your hands. And there's somebody at the door, just carefully suggesting that if you're not wearing a mask, please could you put one on?
Yeah.
And they do say, one person in, but you see people going in couples, and I'm not going to lie, I have done it myself. I've gone in with Glenn and done some shopping together, but suddenly you're like, because you haven't seen anybody for so long, it's all a bit bright lights. And bright lights and full of noise.
You see, Ali says, how wonderful to encourage children to write thank you cards. We always had to as kids, so, that was just what it was. We used to have to do that when we were young.
Yes, it was instilled into us as well.
Yeah. You see, we have certain relatives that don't, and I wonder if they've received them.
Well, yes, it does make you wonder that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So this one on this side, I've not cut that properly because I left the selvage in, but we'll put that one down at the bottom. You're going to put 2 squares together before you start adding on the leaf. So on the right hand side, you've got 2 squares, and that just gives you that staggered effect. if you wanted them to be exactly opposite each other, you could do that. That's, you know, as I've said before, it's your quilt, you can do it your way. It's just the technique and how you want to do it. Some people like to follow a pattern to the letter, and other people think, oh yeah, I've got that, I'll just tweak that slightly and make it my own, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Now Elizabeth says that she writes thank you cards if she's included on an invite list to a party. She said John had never heard of it. It's just one of those things. If somebody gives you hospitality or gives you anything, it's
a nice thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's to be, appreciate being included in things. And
now it
like
might
you say,
not happen immediately. It might take a little bit of time.
Yeah. And then we've got
oh, lovely,
a leaf with a square and another leaf, and then at the bottom of this one we've got 4 squares together, and then at the bottom of this one we'll have 3 squares. So I'll just quickly whiz these together. So I'm just joining the squares, following the pattern, just joining them together in rows. And I've always said join things in pairs and add on. With this it doesn't matter so much joining it on because it doesn't move too much. Sometimes when you join things all in one row, the weight of it can pull it and distort it. It doesn't really happen with this.
Yeah, well, Claire, there is that. She said, we were told to write thank you cards, which is fine. Then grandmother in France would thank you for the thank you. Then she'd get annoyed we didn't thank her for the thank you to our thank you for the gift. Yeah, it can. Basically, she's your pen pal then.
Yeah.
That's how that one works. And there is nice about receiving. My mum started to write to the kids.
I think it's lovely. You know, I used to write to my grandparents when I was away at college, and I could have picked up the phone and chatted to them on the phone, but I now have some lovely keepsake letters from my grandparents.
Yeah.
Which is a lovely thing to have.
And the only writing that I have of my grandmother's, which was lovely, is in my button box, where she's labelled the buttons to say what they went with.
Oh, how lovely.
And that's the only handwriting that I have, apart from some cards, like birthday cards and stuff that I have from when I was younger.
I have my work sewing room at my mum's house, because I'm in my mum's bubble anyway.
Yeah.
And it's her sewing room, and her sewing room is a great big room. It's bigger than this room, but she sews in another room. So I have a corner of her sewing room.
Yeah.
So we're socially distanced anyway. But she came in the other day and she said, oh, I just need a button. And I remember this button tin. It's my dad went to do work away in Hong Kong, and he came back with this lovely tin with Chinese, I suppose it is. And it's a metal tin and it's embossed, but it was lovely, and it had seafood crackers and things in it.
Oh, lovely.
Which then we'd know, I mean, you can go to Holland and Barrett's now, can't you, and buy them, but they were like really exotic when we were like children, and they were really lovely. And she uses that now as a button tin, and she came in and she said, oh, I just need some buttons. And she got the tin out, and I said, oh, I remember that tin. And then she proceeded to get these buttons out, and she said, oh, this is the one I had when I had this coat, and this came off your granddad's cardigan, and this is, and I was just like, that tin is full of memories.
Yeah.
And I can remember as a child playing with my nana's button tin, and I said to my mum, you know, did it get thrown out? And she said, I really don't know. She said a lot of the things from my nana's house came to my mum's house, you know, just general, you know, not precious things, just generally clearing the house out. She said, it's probably here somewhere.
You might find it one day.
Yeah. So I'm going to join 2 pairs together and then 4 to add on to the bottom of there, and then I'm going to join the 3 to add on to the bottom of the other side. I know this is a bit like watching paint dry, watching me just sew squares together.
No, I like having a chat. And Gemma has just said, because it's just been delivered, We've just had the delivery. So she says, oh my word, back in stock. The Soline scissors in both sizes.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, the pink one that
These
everyone...
are perfect for cutting out because they go sharp right to the point.
They're perfect for so many things. The magnetic pin dishes and the super duper ones with the storage. She said the June Taylor Starch Savvy is back in stock. The curved safety pins, I know a lot of you are after those. The wash away quilters tape, the Hemline Superior Quality Tailor's measuring tape, which has got a little popper to hold it together so that you don't have to try and use your hairbands to try and keep them together.
Yeah.
The Cam Starter Snap kits, perfect if you're making the bibs, by the way. The Tilda Doll hair, oh yeah, that's finally back in stock as well. The Clover Seams Right, the 18mm rotary cutters, and the new items in the Vaseline department, and more. Oh, Gemma's going to have fun loading all that.
Yes. It's lovely. A big box came and it's like Christmas. You open it, you're like, oh, look at all this.
I love that. I love that. And for me, I've realised that I love buying.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be for me. Like, I love buying for all of you lot.
Yeah.
Because I just, yeah.
It's
I love
lovely
finding bargains.
finding new things and new gadgets that were useful, and it's a really good fun thing to do.
Oh, so you know, Myra has her grandmother's, mother's and aunt's written recipes. Oh, yeah. And she says, I've compiled a recipe book for my granddaughter when I pass, but you look at my handwriting and my grandmother's and you think, what? As her writing is beautiful. Well, you see, my mum's is, and there was a certain way, wasn't there, that people used to be taught to write, and everybody had to write the same way.
The same way. I was sort of at the end of that. We had handwriting lessons and we were taught to write a certain way.
Yeah, you see, Freddie's writing is very...
He's got lovely, neat writing.
Yeah, he really has. He takes a lot of care over it.
Practising his joined up writing the other day, wasn't he? And I was just like, that is so clever, so neat. But he was joining literally every letter
that he could.
And I think
in any way that he could.
I think when you do start to learn to do joined up writing, you think that you do have to join everything. Single letter together.
Yep. I love how they teach at Freddie and Emily's school, how they teach to write. They have a sandbox.
Oh,
I think it's like a cat litter tray basically with sand in.
Yeah.
Obviously no cats have been near it.
No.
Just like to quantify that. And so they write their letters in the sand, and it doesn't matter, you know, it's not there for them to fixate on.
No.
So if it doesn't look quite right, just give it a quick
yeah.
shake and they start again. But it just means that they can have fun. They love the sandbox, and it just means they dip their fingers in, and they're not having to hold anything because sometimes the dexterity isn't there. Now Emily holds pens with both hands. She hasn't decided yet which she is.
And isn't it lovely that nowadays they don't have that? Well, you can't write left-handed.
No, she writes very happily with both at the minute.
Yeah. You know,
and
even when I was at
prolific.
school, they were trying to dissuade children not to write with their left hand.
Trouble is, I think if you are left-handed, you know, there's not a lot that you can.
No, it's really hard at trying to make people write the other way.
Now you see, I know Elizabeth's had problems with her back. She says, I'm teaching myself to write again. My hands are different now. And I think also you get, like, my husband does everything on a computer. And so it's either that or it was just a very cunning way to get out of ever writing any of our family thank you letters. And it's the same when we got married. I wrote all of our thank you letters then as well. But he's like, I've just lost the ability to, because he doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Just doesn't do it anymore.
And it's going to, you know, penmanship is going to become a craft, isn't it?
I love writing.
In the long term, because, like you say, people will get out of the habit of doing it.
You see, this is it. But I learn from my handwritten stuff. I can't learn if it's on a sheet.
I was saying this to Gemma. I can't read my patterns on a computer screen. I have to print them off and then read through them. I can't, it just won't go in.
No. And I do feel for children who are being taught in this technological age, if they are like you and I, where words don't stay still on a computer screen, they jiggle around all over the shop for me, and it's a little bit of a problem. But I really feel for kids. And when I was, I mean, the last exams that I did was when I was pregnant with Emily, and I did my all my yoga exams, and there was a big exam on anatomy and physiology because there was so much to learn on that module.
Yeah.
Which was fine because, you know, I've done A-level biology. I've got various anatomy and physiology from when I used to have the laser fat removal company, and I've done a lot of all of that kind of stuff, but it's moved on, and the yoga stuff was very different, but it's really important to know. And I wanted to know it and remember it as well.
Yes.
So not only did I write out all of the modules, it was so labour intensive, but I also read them out and recorded them as well, and just listened and listened and listened.
Yeah, it's a good way for it to go in.
It was a really good way. So, you know.
So you can see now I've got two half panels. I've got the left-hand side and the right-hand side.
Now, you see, if I show it like that, it looks like Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yes.
We're not quite sure.
Where is it going?
Where's it
Where's the
heading?
treasure?
So I'm going to put it. No,
Down
it's
there.
okay. It's okay. I'll pop it back on that angle, and then we can see it in all
You
its
can see
glory.
it probably better. So it's quite long. You can make it shorter if you want to. You can change the order of the leaves. If you want to have your leaves symmetrical, you can do that. You can copy it completely. It's just the principle of it. It's the way I've done it. You don't have to do it the same. So now we want to put that stalk in. Now, when I was doing it, I was like, well, I could do 1 inch and sew it on, but then you'd have to have something in the middle, and that would distort the flower. That's going to be complicated. And then I remembered the flange that we've done when we've wanted sort of like a faux piping around the edge of binding and things.
Nice.
So I thought that's how I'll do it. So you need to measure from the base of this part here of your panel, however you've done it, from there to the bottom there. And it should be 34-ish, 34 and a half. So you want to cut an inch wide strip of fabric from your whichever stem fabric you're using, and then you're going to press that together, the wrong sides together, to press it in half.
So like you're starting off making your binding.
Yeah, similar to that.
Oh my goodness, Elizabeth said that their housekeeper at home was told that she was possessed by the devil at school because she was a left-hander.
I know.
I don't think they can get away with saying that anymore. Could you imagine? And Lisa is relearning calligraphy.
I did a college course on calligraphy. I loved it.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Really
Again,
beautiful.
it's another sort of mindfulness thing, because you just slow yourself down, and it's an art form.
I think Gemma
It's an
did as
art
well.
form.
So all of her labels for any gifts always look phenomenal. And Donna said, I grabbed an exercise book the other day and started writing in it. She said something made me turn the book to the back, and there in my grandmother's handwriting was a story she used to tell me when I was 6. I've moved so many times. How this book was there, I don't know, but it was wonderful to see and read the story again. She's been dead about 30 years.
Oh, how magical.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's giving me shivers.
Yeah. My mum did when I moved out eventually, she gave me a book of recipes, like family recipes, like her Christmas cake one.
Yeah.
She didn't use rancid nuts in hers. That was just my little take on it this year. My little twist.
Yeah.
I won't be adding that in. But yeah, I've added in certain little things. And I keep all of my school books, which Stephen hates me for every time we move house.
my
He's like,
mum's got-
do you need all your school books? I'm like, look, do you know the hours I spent making all of these look really pretty?
Yeah.
And that's how my brain is slightly photographic, but for my own writing.
Yes.
So I could remember exactly where a topic was in my exam because of how that page looked.
Yeah.
The brain
It's
is
really clever.
weird and wonderful, and I love it.
So I've pressed this together in half.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
sorry, we're doing that.
I'm just going to turn the top end over by 1/4 inch,
Okay.
just so that I've got that neat edge. Then I'm going to line that up, so it's lined up. Shall I bring that down so that we've got the
Yeah.
overhead
Because, you know,
view? I'm going to line that up with the base of that part of the petal unit there. Just going to line that up. We can pin it down, and I'm going to tack it. So I'm just going to pin it at the top, just so I've got it in the right place. I'm going to take it to the machine. I'm going to make the stitch as long as the machine will go. because it's quicker. If you want to do it by hand, you could do it by hand. It's just to hold it in place before we then join it together. So just lining up those raw edges with the edge of the panel and sewing as close to the edge as you feel comfortable. About an eighth of an inch, doesn't have to be, but within the seam allowance.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to have to unpick it really, particularly if you've done it on machine. But with the long stitch, if you wanted to unpick it, it's easy to do. And just keeping it level with the edge. As I say, if you want to pin it, you pin it. And we're just sewing that down with the biggest stitch that it'll go on the machine. And it really is, it's just like tacking it on the machine, really. It's just holding it in place.
Now Laurie says, I was thinking the other day when writing a letter, this seems strange, even spelling. We rely on typing and spell check.
Yes.
It's so true. And you know what, spell check is one thing I will be eternally grateful for, because like I say, I'm just
my
borderline
spelling's not
dyslexic, and it's just, I just get things a little bit wobbly sometimes and misread things, which can get me in trouble.
Yeah.
Elizabeth says, tell Stephen to read Lo's comment about need next time he remarks about the books. The thing is with my books is that they are beautiful. Like, I really took pride in my school books, and when I was teaching I used to take them in and say, look, this is how I want your work presented, laid out like this. I'm not asking you to do anything that I'm not prepared to do myself. These are my books.
Yeah.
And it just gives them the idea of, because it's a learning aid as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's great.
of course it is. Yeah, beautiful.
I love that Freddie and Emily's school it's not about technology, it's about that hands-on learning experience.
I think at that early age it needs to be, doesn't it? I think, secondary school is the time to really focus on the technology side of things. I think, particularly infant school, it should be about development and enjoying
writing your letters
learn.
in sand.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I am very grateful that I didn't grow up in a screen era, because I would have struggled at school for sure.
So let's pulled it slightly there. We definitely got a little bit of a problem with the tension now. There we go. It's all right because it's tacking, so it doesn't matter. So it's just holding it in place, because we're now then going to join that panel to that panel like you would do if you were joining it edge to edge, seam to seam. And what I would say to you is, if you can, just think about it and press your seams in opposite directions on your right hand panel to the left hand panel. It's going to make it easier for you to line everything up. Again, when you do the petal part, just make sure that your centre seams for the semicircles of the yellow are lined up, because visually that will be the point that your eye focuses on.
Yeah. Carol says that stem is beautiful. Got me thinking about that binding interfacing. Yes. And I've bought all of their binding interfacing, and you could do that, couldn't you?
Yes, definitely. You could do that really. Give it a 3D effect then, wouldn't it, with that piping?
Could you imagine if Emily had found that on there? We'd never have got her off it.
It would have been really tactile for her.
Yes, and I've got some more coming, a different make, so I don't know what the price will be, but it was really good stuff, wasn't it?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Natasha was like, will you just do that? And I was like, ooh, I like this. It's like, it's a chore coming to work every day. It really is. Such hard work.
What amazing new things can we find today?
It's always a big adventure every time.
It's how it should be. That's life, isn't it? It should be a nice big adventure.
Yeah, life's hard enough. You should make it as fun as possible.
We try.
Yeah, so I'm just pinning this at the points where the squares patches meet up, just so that I've got visually, if anybody were to look at it, it does line up in a sort of patchwork effect.
Right. But I guess it's taken away any kind of concern for...
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of it really is it's a sort of little bit quirky, folksy, naive pattern. So, unless you're going to put it into a competition, I wouldn't worry too much if your seams are a little bit mislined. it's not the end of the world, and it sort of adds to the effect of it.
So it's a relaxed approach.
Yeah. But I'm not very relaxed about this unthreaded machine.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. It's not the end of the world, and you know.
Yeah, I don't know why it suddenly started doing it. It's very annoying.
Yeah, we'll get it cleaned when we finish today. We'll give it a good dusting.
Well, I'm at the vet.
Yeah.
Not for the dog.
Is it Margot's ears again?
It is Maud's ears.
Maud's ears, rather. Sorry.
Yeah, she's got another checkup.
Bless her.
She I don't know what she keeps doing. Though I don't think we've got. I think it's an allergy, and I don't think we've quite got to the bottom of it. And I thought we had. I thought we'd got there because she'd gone a while with them all being all right. We'll get there. She's got an amazing vet. He's really lovely with her. And the nice thing is that they operate a no pain clinic because they deal with all the guide dogs, so they can't afford to worry them in any way.
Yes.
So it takes as long as it takes to get the dogs to do what they need to do.
Oh, that's nice.
And so I really respect that because it's hard enough as an owner because of distancing. I can't go in with her.
No.
So she has to go in and see all these strange people and be poked and prodded, you know, by herself.
Yeah.
But she likes them.
It helps if you then remember to take your stitch back down to a small stitch. Just tack that together, but it'll hold it.
Donna says that she's glad I clarified that it was for the dog. Do you know? Well, you know, just
It's like when I go with my mum to take, because my mum doesn't drive, so I take her to the vets with her cats. I will clarify it's for the cats, but
Yes.
quite often I'll say to Glenn, "Oh, I'm taking my mum to the vets," and he's like, "Why? What's wrong with her this time?" I'm like, no, I'm taking the cats to the vets with my mum.
it's a good day out, isn't it?
Yeah.
My dad did say to me, he said, you know that is like the furthest you've been
Yeah.
in the last year is to the vet.
To the
That
vets.
is now your social life. I'm like, all right, no need to rub it in.
It's really hard because it's like, I don't know about you, but I've realised that I didn't have very much of a social life before because I'm not really doing much more different than I did.
I'm a
Before
mother of small
lockdown.
children. What sort of social life did you think I had? Unless it involved a park. Let's be honest. Well, that is lovely.
There we go. So you make the panels in a similar fashion, tacking your faux binding, your flange down, and then joining the panels together.
Beautiful.
And when you've got those together, you'll put a border of the background fabric around that, layer it up and quilt it, and you can have real fun playing with your quilting. And it's a small enough project to have a go at a little bit of free motion on.
Yes.
And I've just had a little play with my free motion. I did a little crisscross in the middle of the one, I did little pebbles in the other one, and I did a swirl in the other one. I've just gone around the outside. I drew the butterfly on with a fabric marker and then sewed over the lines. But you could do a crisscross panel on the back, or you could have a free motion. You could do lots on there and really play with it. You could do more butterflies, you could do bees, you could do shadow flowers that are just stitched in the same colour as the background on the background.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's more flowers in the distance. You could have really good fun with it. And because
lovely
it's a
idea.
small piece, it won't feel overwhelming.
No.
And you
no,
can
no.
use it as a practice piece.
Perfect.
So it's a really nice little thing to do. And as I said, if you wanted to, you could make it bigger by adding borders on it. You could make little blocks to put round. You could just add lots of borders on to make it bigger. So it's a nice little wall hanging for spring, or you can
Have
go
fun playing.
bigger if you want.
Go big, go big, go big.
So there you are.
Oh, Susan said her friend, she suffers from allergies with her ears and has had some really painful yeast infections and now is on Citapoint, monthly injections, and all is good. Oh, I should be asking about this. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's a rare breed. Like we wanted
Yeah,
to
and-
breed from her, but I won't if
Yeah,
it's something that's
sort of hereditary.
Yeah,
you
then I
don't want to be
wouldn't
breeding
do
in.
it.
No, and I think hairy dogs as well, because I know that poodles, and this is a bit horrible, but I know poodles, you have to pluck the inside of their ears because the hair
Do
grows
you?
inside, and because they don't molt, you have to
Yeah.
periodically pluck them. And I wonder whether some shaggier, hairier breeds are maybe a bit like that anyway.
yeah,
you get
no, I
that
think
irritated bit inside their
They
ear.
are certainly prone to it, and he did
Yeah.
say hounds' ears are notorious for it. Maybe
Yeah.
we need to talk to Gemma about, getting a waxing kit over here.
Waxing the inside of
Yeah.
her ears. She'll love that.
She'd love that. Yeah. I think Gemma has been known to wax the inside of people's noses as
Oh,
well.
lovely.
I mean, what a job! What a job.
Yeah.
Lois just said flange.
Flange.
It's a
one
fabulous
of those
word.
words. It's one of those
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
Flange.
That's the one. Elizabeth says, James, that's so pretty. Yeah. So that's it. So guys, thank you. Thank you.
Don't be frightened of curves.
No. Jane,
Want to
thank
see
you
what
for
we're doing
showing us
next week?
curves. Thank you for... Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's just it's quite a simple project. It's also suitable for layer cakes and jelly rolls. So
Oh, no, it looks like a chain
it's
knot.
it's like a woven chain.
Oh, wow. Hang on, let me switch to there. Beautiful.
So it's a nice way
Oh, hang
to
on.
show off your large
Print.
large prints.
Nice.
So yeah,
Very nice.
2 blocks, quite straightforward. So we'll be doing that next week
Perfect.
when I've quilted it.
Well, that would be great for if you did smaller ones for your half-meat heavens as well,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
definitely. Yeah,
Especially the ones with the 2 different colourways that we've
yeah.
got there.
Yeah, you could do that definitely.
That would be phenomenal. But we'll, of course, bundle stuff for you.
Yes.
We will clearly bundle stuff for you. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for your company. Sorry to dash, but, the vet waits for no
I
man.
was going to say the vet calls.
He doesn't call. I've got to
No.
go to him. That's the trouble, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's quite a
it'd be
way
nice
away
if he
as
did
well.
call.
So, yeah, I've got to go up the M42
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure.
in the rain. Always in the rain.
Yeah.
But everybody, thank you so much. Just before we go, just so that you know, keep an eye out over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
We've got something I think is quite exciting for you.
Yes.
I'm very excited for it. The idea came to me this morning at 6 o'clock and I was like, yes, we're going to do that. As I was rummaging through the warehouse. So, yeah.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So do keep an eye out for that. We might even send it out in a little newsletter so that everybody knows. Mara says, thank you, ladies. Oh, my goodness, that's gorgeous. Looking forward to next week. Learning so much. So there we go. And Lo is just excited for her scissors.
Yeah.
And you should be, because they're fabulous
They
scissors.
are fabulous scissors.
And I take back ever not wanting them because they looked a bit plasticky. They are brilliant.
Yeah, the handles
Brilliant.
you think, they look a little bit like child scissors, don't they? But they're
They
actually
do, but they're
phenomenal.
actually- they are. They really are. So, I should have got over myself. Well, I have. So they're fab. Thank you very much, Jane. Thank you very much,
welcome.
everybody, for watching. We will see you, apart from that, on Monday. And no, Julia, I'm not going to tell you. You have to wait and see. Ha! Bye!
Bye.